Boom! You know it, Fabian. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people.
Good timing there, Fabian.
Right, he's perfect, bro. He is the Chilean nightmare.
Dang.
Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And yes, we have to wait for the lovely people to weasel on over from the other stream. You know, I say weasel in a loving way, obviously. Shout out to Christmas, Mike Jones. He's already yelling. We got Cristobal and Nephew, the capital dang P. We got Lee Yee. We got Demon Haunted House. Oh, baby. EQ and Johnny Fishbone. Juan Padilla, the OG. We got, who else? San Vincent and Grenadas. Sure. We got Stanley Game, Derek Thompson, Ravi, Fernandez, and Mickey J. Shout out to Just Living and Trader X, Capstone, and Tony, Mary, Martinez, RTJ, and Sports and Stonks, Betzone, Burrell, and Soul Queen, 88. You get the bangs because you have 88s in your name. I like that. Blue Arrow, Constantine, Mike DeRider. We got Eagle Talon. One of my favorite cars from the 90s. Shout out to Eagle, the defunct brand of Chrysler. We got Thomas Tan. We got Charmaine Khan. Andrew Bakes Cakes. I don't want to see carbohydrates on my screen. Thank you very much. We got Jorge Alvaro. DJ 2 a.m. because he's up late spinning, baby. We got DJ Easy Street and the boy, that boy Keeks. Hey, yo, he says. Kenny Lee Nunley. The son of who? Of Skynet. Thor. The son of Skynet, we're going to have to ban you, brother. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jimmy J, Q, Trader 21, Young, Talent, the Great, Mr. Biggs.
All right, that's it. He's done.
He's done? What's happening
Jose's
over?
Done.
Jose Villa, bro, you gotta chill, bro. Just time him out. Time him out.
He's gone.
Joe drops a ban hammer, man. IMAX Meep. Who else? Alfred Dia. We got Airy Pages, Katina, man, and Los Polos Hermanos. Global Investor. I happen to like that name as well. I hope everybody's had a fantastic morning. The big boys absolutely demolished it on the morning show. We're going to shut them out. Great look there for the big boys. What's going on over there, Joseph?
Let's go Robinhood, man.
Tell them, baby.
Yeah, let's pull it up here, guys, real quick. We're going to go over what we have been trading. There we go. So we're long the SQs and short Hood. So we're short here today. Guys, I was telling you, I bought some NVDA yesterday at 111. I'm looking at the screen, doing some setting up on TWS, and I'm watching the tape, Sharif, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Boom, right around 5:30 or whatever
You'll be fine,
it be.
Joseph.
Yeah, it just continued to tank. So I'm like, oh no. And I ended up buying a little bit more. I started really small. So I got an average of 107 roughly on NVDA. As you can see, it's getting tanked. But we're going to hold on to that for a little while. This is what we got going on here in Hood. I'm like, what am I doing long here? So I flip, add, and then now we're starting to take a little bit off the top here, guys, on Robinhood. But this is what Neil was referring to. We were trading some IBIT this morning. I'm really bullish on this underlying right now because we're sitting on the backside of the trend. So along with my NVDA that I grabbed, I bought some IBIT. But here, this is our trade here. I wish I just stuck to my guns and continued to hammer this trade. We were long shortly after the open. Peace out, and then we get stopped out about 66% right there. That's okay. But what a nice move here on IBIT. And then we also shorted some NVDA this morning as well. You can see we entered right here, added, then we took some off and then got stopped out, break even. But the move that is really starting to cook up is Robinhood. We're going to take a little bit more off the top here, guys. Hopefully the Qs can start moving too because we are long the SQQs. So we are short the market. Let's go Robinhood, Sharif. That is my spiel.
Joseph.
There's a lot of information to digest right there. But let's see what my guys got going.
All right, we're long bull, man. That's the way we're going to start off the show. We're already wetting the beak over here with some profits. We got 2 out so far. Let's see, just 1 second. Let me organize myself here because I had to punch into this position quickly. We're long 66s. It's already giving me 50, so we're almost $1 in the money quick as you freaking like. Let's set up at that dollar so we can just hit the dollar banger. Super quick if we can get it showing me 50s. There is a seller at 50s. You can see that on the level 2. I'm talking about BULL Webull, the SPAC that nobody talked about last week. We traded it earlier this week. We're back into it right now. Anything below 46.66 gets me out of this trade. We're going to go ahead and put in the stop right now. We have already wet the beak several times. It looks a little pixelated here, and the reason is because the price action has been so aggressive to the upside that the outs look baby. So that's what we're doing right now. We're involved in BULL as well as HYMC. Let me show you this trade over here. This is a volume weighted average price pullback. I'm talking about HYMC. It's up 13.25%. It just weaseled into VWAP, and I'm looking for this one to clear 60 before I look to take any more profits. Back to BULL. That seller at 50 is still there. We're unable to shake him or her, whoever the hell is on the other side of that order. They're keeping BULL down below that 47.50. We've been watching this one for a hot minute, and let's see if we're able to clear that level. If we're able to clear it by a couple of shekels, likely I will get printed. We'll have to see if that manifests or not, but already profitable on it. What I'm looking at next and what I'm feeling, lamenting right now is USAR, another one that pulled into the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and I did not get into this one. What a beautiful retracement into that 16 2/3 and up into 17.5 we go. Strength right now for USAR. Back to bull. Boom! To start the show, we hit the dollar club. BULL to the high side, baby. Keep your eye on Webull.
Yeah, Webull. There we go, guys. So let's take a look at some of these bigger names. So we got Google trading higher, looking really good on the session. There we go. Oh, he's already. Are you in it?
What?
The Dollar Club.
Yeah, I already hit it.
Oh, all right.
We already finished,
hey,
bro.
Man, I'm in a
the Dollar
world.
Club's been there. No, I'm playing.
All right. So there we go. So Google and Amazon trading higher. So that is not a good look for the long on SQQ there, guys, especially if these guys want to really start to get moving. So we'll continue to monitor that, but we're going to just milk this this hood trade here until otherwise. Let's see if we can get into 41.20s and head down to 41.10s. That's going to be the goal. This bearish print on the daily is looking good for the thesis. So if we can crack the low, we're going to take a little bit more off here, guys, the majority of it, and then we'll just leave a little bit of a runner as we head towards. Look at the weakness in the tape and the imbalance on the level 2. That's really key and important to note. You can see on the immediate bid, a lot more aggression there, and you can see the flushes there on the tape as well. So always keeping an eye on that, and that's why I have these quote highlights. If you have the ability to do so, make sure you highlight those quotes, set it for whatever, and if you guys want to go over it real quickly, we'll do that. So it's greater than 500 shares. That's not very hard. You can obviously change that. You can go 1,000, whatever you feel like. You obviously have to adjust it from underlying to underlying, but yeah, make sure you got those quote highlights on there, guys. But we are going to continue with these shorts in HOOD and going to be long the SQQQ.
I don't get it, Joseph.
Brother.
Guys, I want to also mention STBX. It's up 70%, which is a good look, right? If we can show the chart. STBX is the one I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a chart. STBX, $3. This looks like a flat top break about to manifest. We talked about this one yesterday. I think it was OST that I took that had a very similar pattern. This is one of those situations where you have umpteen amount of higher lows, and you don't need to be a great chart reader to see this. Every successive little downturn is a little bit higher than its predecessor. But when you look at the high side of the price action, it seems to be all in around the same area, around that $3 area. So STBX, it's above the volume weighted average price right now. It's putting in higher lows. It's got a key area of resistance at $3, and I won't be convinced differently. The only concern that I have with this one, and there it goes, as I'm talking about it, there it goes to the $5 flat top break. Let's see if it can close, though, above that $3. That's what's going to be operative now. We've already seen the wicks. There goes 3 1/4. There goes 3 1/3. So this STBX is zigging. It's zagging, Joseph. I should have been punching in here instead of trying to explain it, but the situation is, we're on the show. So look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look for the exact same trade that I had yesterday with OST, which is to basically try to get it off that $3 dip. That's going to be my move. I'm going to try that, and I'll try and defend it if I can into 3. It doesn't look like it's going to have me. It's already taken out highs. There goes that 330 area again. The high of the day is 344. But to go back to what I was saying earlier, I am concerned about this candle over here that manifested at 9:45, even though it's an after the bell high. There could be value holders from around there. So there's always a concern in my eyes when I'm trading these small cap gappers. There we go. Now we're long. Okay, so now we have to focus. Look to take profits over here. Bang. All right. Up here. Let's go. Cross 18, baby. Nope, didn't cross 18. So we got to watch out with that one. Here comes 7s again. So let's go set up at 24s. And let's set up as well at 33. So if we get a price spike. Joseph, I'm going to send it to you. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do what you got to do there, guys. I've been looking really good. I want to get into this a little bit more. Going to add some to the long term here. Sharif kind of just planted a seed in my head, and I'm like, you're right, brother. So kind of been working my ways around that. So let's see what we got going on. And I think this could be a positive sign here for this underlying and this asset class. So you can see that we have this trend to the downside. We had this nice breakout here before the election, and then we get this pop, whatever it may be. But then we've been in this steady downtrend for how many days now? Let's calculate that, because that's why TradingView is absolutely amazing.
Boom. Boom.
Okay, 87 days, all right, from that peak to where we're currently sitting at. And now we're on the backside of this trend. Could this be a whipsaw move? I don't know. We're holding it relatively well, and we're starting to set up this ABC type pattern. You can see this consolidation phase. So what I'm going to be looking for is that we break through some of these resistance zones and head back up to 91,000 and maybe even north of that. So gonna grab some more in the long term, and I've already started to slowly grab some in the swing account as well too. So liking Bitcoin a lot, Sharif.
Yes,
what do you got going on that trade?
We're printing again on it, man. But look, we're at a 3/5 of the position. I've got a beak wetter set up at 3 1/3 and then one in front of the $0.50. But let me tell you, anything below $2.88, that is the end of my trade. I will give it a bit of room below my 307, and the reason I would do that is because when I look at the chart, the range per candle is quite wide. What does that mean? That means if you're charting on the 5 and then you look at the 5-minute candles and they're all wider than would typically be the case, or more range per candle than typically would be the case, then you need to account for that. And you need to account for it in multiple ways. In the size that you take, in the profit levels that you look to take, and in your stop placement. So you have to think about all that when a stock like this, STBX, has a wide range per candle. That's my thinking. We're at 3/5 of the position. I think, in fact, I'm actually going to move up my stop from 288. I don't want to give too much back. We're going to move it up to 294, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to remove the old stop order there below that level. So that's my move right now on STBX. As it comes down into 7s again, I don't want to give too much back. So that's my thinking on that one. Now, the other one I'm involved in, where's it at? HYMC is doing absolutely nothing. We're long 59s, it's showing me 58s, so I'm really unsure about how I want to pursue this one. The volume's really dropping off here on HYMC, so despite the fact that it's holding up at VWAP, it's not exactly a glowing endorsement to go long here. Just full disclosure, I'm in it, but I don't know how much longer I'm going to want to stay in it. So I want to try to focus as much as I can here on STBX, especially if it starts getting parabolic, Joseph. I want to take a page out of your playbook, my man, and I want to start adding into these winning positions. So that's what I'm thinking about right now on STBX.
Nice look there, brother. And that's how you have to think. So good mentality. He's getting prepared for that. So if the opportunity arises, then he's going to be able to take advantage of it there, Sharif.
Get it, Joseph.
And there we go. Let's go hood as it breaks down. And people in the chat are telling me, Joe, SQQs don't look good if the market is going to climb, continue to climb higher. I mean, some of these big names are trading, but it's Nvidia, the beast of all beasts, continuing to move to the south side. Oh my days! There we go. We're taking another leg down there, guys. I was talking about the key levels that we are running into. There, we'll take a little bit more off, but this is what the thesis was on the SQQ trade there, guys. So you can see throughout the pre-market and the open, we have this downtrend. So until we crack it and sit on the top side of this, I'm going to stick to the short, and it's easier for me to just buy the SQQs. So there we go. We're getting that breakdown. Let's see if we can head towards the low of day. We have some key pre-market levels that we need to watch out for as well too. But if we can head towards them, that'll be absolutely fantastic. But so far, a good look on Robinhood. Unfortunately, I've grabbed some too in the long term on Robinhood, and I didn't average all the way down here in the 30s, which I should have. But oh well, shoulda, coulda, woulda. There will always be another opportunity, and if the trade starts to work, we're going to just add more to it because that's what we like to do. When things are working out, we like to add to the positions, and you can see that displayed here on Robinhood. So we started really small, and then we just get into the full size here, and then now we're slowly just starting to piece things out. And the thing is, though, I had some things going on in the morning, so I'm like, I wasn't paying crazy attention to IBIT, but this was a really nice trade and something that I knew I should have taken more stabs at it because I seen what was going on, how we're sitting on the backside of the trend, and I was doing some market analysis too, obviously in my free time at home, and I'm like, we can really get rolling here. We've been in this downtrend for about 3 months now in Bitcoin, and if everybody's still buying this stuff, then get involved. If everybody's scared about the US dollar, what's going on in the economy, it seems that some individuals are fleeing to Bitcoin. I don't know if it's stable or anything along those lines, but it's a good play right now. And you can see from today, we're up about 1.5% there, Sri.
Yeah, and I happen to agree with you. I just feel that lately, especially with the price action, there's been more proof that people are still being traditional, Joseph. Yep. They're still fleeing to gold when, what hits the fan. That's now. That's 2025. Is that the case in 2035 and going into the future? So I feel, money talks, right? And inflows, you can't really argue with them. They're there or they're not. Yep. So the inflows are there in the gold. We saw another all-time high today. But you're talking about now. You're talking about 2025. So I don't really invest for right now. I don't need the money right now. And so I'm going to be investing for the future. And so I think that I'm going to take the advantage of any aggressive drops in Bitcoin to add to the position. Full disclosure, I didn't even add yet, okay? So when I added a few days ago into my Apple position, into my ASML position, I didn't actually add anything to IBIT. So I'm still lamenting that a little bit. Here we go with STBX. So we get stopped out there on the dip down. So that feels like a specialist breakdown where they were stop hunting. Now, what I did was I placed my order, my stop loss, below the prior bar low. So we end up giving back about 6 cents on that last stop. I can stomach that. That's okay. All right, here we go. Now this one's starting to move back up. HYMC, let's look to take profits over here if we can. There we go. We'll throw an order out there. Or we already have an order there. Okay, that's kind of weird. Then how come it didn't pop up through that? Here we go. Okay, now it's showing that it might be moving into 63, 64. So, all right, it's crossing, but it's not filling me because the spread is about 4 pennies right now. That's normal stuff. Let's see if this one can cross on the ask in order for me to get printed. So what I'm looking for are these orders to trigger, but as you can see, we got 4s on the ask and O's on the bid, and that is what we call the spread, and hence why I'm not getting printed there. So I'm going to keep my eye on HYMC. Still very interested now that it's defended VWAP for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're currently on our 6th candle on the 5-minute chart, where HYMC has defended the volume weighted average price. That's my thinking. I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Oh, Harry, tag me. Harry Lou. A lot of wealth concentrated in the baby boomer generation, and they look to gold. You're absolutely right, Harry. My parents, same way. I told you about my friend Alfred Harry, how he inherited, about $250,000 worth of gold from his old man. And so I completely agree with you on that, Harry, but we all know what's happening with the baby boomer generation. Right now, they're on their way out, and there's going to be the biggest transfer of wealth, I think, in modern times between the baby boomer generation and the millennials / Gen Z. I don't even think Gen Z would be connected with the baby boomer generation. Wouldn't they be the kids of Gen X? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, you got it.
But there's going to be a big wealth transfer. But Harry, you're absolutely right. I don't disagree with anything you said there. Let's see if it continues to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I like what Sharif's talking about there, and they like gold, but what if the younger generation likes these digital assets like Bitcoin?
Agreed.
So you never know what can happen on that front. So here we go, guys. We're still sitting in this Robinhood. Can we make another leg down? We got the Qs just dropping around the volume weighted average price. So not too bad of a look. You can see I changed the color of the entries for you guys. So I went long, got out, add, and then we just partially take some out there as we head lower and lower in Robinhood. So why did I get into this trade? Let's zoom out and get to a higher time frame. So you can see that we couldn't break through the volume weighted average price, and we were heading towards some key support levels. And I'm like, okay, with the market weak, it's just fade everything. But I had to keep an eye on Google and Amazon. I know they're not necessarily in the same sector, but I'm like, okay, if we're gonna break down here, then I gotta participate in it, because it's just easier to go with the flow than try to necessarily fight it like I did earlier. And I'm just like, no. Okay, let's turn things around. So that's when we decided to go short. Now holding on to this, let's see if we can hold it for the dream there, Sharif. And that's gonna be 41. We'll get all out at 41s, but that's gonna be hefty as the market looks like it wants to continue to climb higher. Because who's dragging it up there? Google. Bam, big Google there, guys. So something must be going on. Not a good look for the SQQQ long. So we might have to hop out of that one there momentarily. But here we go on Google.
Interesting.
Let's see what we got going on from a trend line standpoint, because that is key. It's just basic TA. And if we crack it and sit on the other top side, if we sit on the back side of it, then just abandon it. This could be a potential long on the day. You can see that we gapped down as well. We did fill it, and now starting to climb higher and higher here. Now trading at 155.37 is Google, and it's dragging the Qs up along with it. So if we crack this support level on SQQQ, I'm going to get out of that trade, and that's going to be a donezo. And I want to get involved in Bitcoin, but I don't want to chase it all the way up here. You heard Neil say that. So we have to wait for that pullback. If it's going to remain strong, I believe there'll be an additional entry, maybe closer to VWAP. That'd be more ideal. But if we don't get it, we're going to look for that indecision within the price action and then look to get involved that way, Sharif.
Boom. We're doing it live, Joseph. We're doing it live. All right, HYMC holding VWAP like a dang glove. But have a look before we start celebrating, getting all giddy. 269 on the NSB, 269 on the NSDQ. Those are lots, not shares. So there is some size posted here from what we can just see. And we've seen this story before, guys. What we can see, I don't know, I don't have this data, but it always feels like a fifth or a third of what's actually what we can't see, the hidden orders, the iceberg orders, as we call them. So this is what we're able to see right now. So there is size here in front of 70, $3.70 on HYMC. The only reason I got long here, volume weighted average price pullback. We're taking prints. We've got multiple prints out so far. We're showing 70s right now on the level 1. For whatever reason, the level 2 showing me 69 as the first one. Doesn't matter. I'm looking at taking profits at 71, 74. I've got multiple outs on this one still left. I'd like to hold something for a big boy high day break, but let me tell you, anything below VWAP, now having curled in this fashion, I'm out. So VWAP right now, guys, just so you understand, $3.56. I'm long $3.59. So what I'm looking at risking right now is 3 pennies. I won't allow it to go against me any more than 3 pennies. Joseph, are we going to Adara? Okay, we're going to Adara.
How come I
heard her.
News on this pop. I know that there are some people wondering why we had this pop. There's nothing that I can see. But a minute before the pop here, we had some comments coming in from Fitch, which is the ratings agency, but they're not positive. They actually cut their world growth forecast for 2025 by 0.4 percentage points. China and US, they're actually cutting that growth even more. So they've cut their growth forecast for both China and the United States by 0.5 percentage points here from their March forecast. So Fitch actually cutting growth estimates, nothing that I can see with regards to this pop to the upside, and I have checked quite a lot, but if there's anything that comes up, I'll let you know. Back to you.
I know she can't see it, but there's something afoot. Like, you don't break out like that midday without something going on. So,
and the volume stepping in there too. On Amazon as well too, Sharif. But I mean, some of these big names are really starting to get the ball rolling. Okay, let's go over what we had going on today. So we went long here on Hood. That one didn't work out. That's okay. So we'll go 1 for 2 on Hood, making it a positive trade. That's key. You add into those positions. Let's see what we got going on SQQ. Right? You don't want to be long SQs when the Mag 7 are absolutely ripping. We get out at the break of these of support levels. All right, no problem. Small loss, nothing. But then we got IBIT as well that worked out. that worked out really well. We missed the primary trend here, but that's okay. We got a nice trade on that one. And then we had some short NVDA as well too. You can see we had a nice little short on NVDA and then got stopped out break even. So there we go. We're like 3 for 5 on the session, keeping it positive, and that's why risk to reward is always key. So always keep that in mind. It's okay to be wrong. You're going to be wrong in these markets. It's just making those losses as minimal as possible there. Let's go NVDA. I would love for this name to start to recover. I mean, we're down 6% on the session on that news here, so not a good look there. And you know what's funny, Sharif?
What?
I was reading the article last night. I'm like, H2O. I read it really like it's the H20,
yeah.
right? Yeah, and I'm like, oh no, I'm like, what do you mean a $5.5 billion water bill? What is this? And then obviously I continue to read. I'm like, yeah, you're such a doorknob, Joseph. And then I bought some more, and there we go, and that's how it is. So what's up, Jeffrey Miller? How's everything going there, my friend?
Jeffrey.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the name of the game. I think that this trade is done. You can see this indecision print here on Robinhood. So I'm happy with that short. You can see that pivot candle right there, and now we're starting to climb and head into some key support zones. But I just went through all 5 of my trades. 3 for 5 on the session, keeping it green there, my brain.
All right, man. I'm just answering Jacques about Arsenal playing Real Madrid today at 3 o'clock. And I got a dentist appointment, sick. So I'm gonna make my cousin play it on the TV because I need to be watching while I'm having my teeth fixed. No, for real though, Arsenal will play Real Madrid today at the Estadio Bernabeu. And Real Madrid, if you don't follow soccer or football, they are the kings of this current tournament that we're in. It's called the Champions League. It's essentially all the top teams of Europe. All the countries have their own league, right? Like the Premier League, Ligue 1, Bundesliga, La Liga. So the top teams from those respective. Pardon me?
Serie A.
Serie A. Yeah, Serie A. In Italy, obviously, yes. Shout out to Patty.
Hey,
what up, Patty? He's happy early birthday, Patty. We love you, brother. It's his birthday tomorrow. Just wanted to shout him out right now. Adara is giving you a round of applause. We love BPI. We love Big Patty Ice. We miss him around here. He was here on Friday. But yeah, to go back, so the top teams of Europe all play each other in this tournament called the Champions League, and the best team with the best record ever in the history of the Champions League is the team that faces Arsenal today, and we play them on their turf. Needless to say, I am a little bit nervous because it's been a long time since Arsenal's been in the semifinals of the Champions League. I think we got to go back to like 06 or something like that. No. I think it was 08 against Manchester United when Ronaldo scored that crazy free kick goal against Manuel Almunia, the goalie at the time. We are going to go to Adara in a second once we get the call, and I got the call. Go ahead.
I just wanted to let you guys know one more time, I have not seen any news on that pop. I have checked diligently every source. All the X accounts that usually will post things like this. I've checked Donald Trump's Truth Social. He hasn't posted in the last half hour. So it's really unclear what gave us this move. I just want to clarify, I have not seen anything yet. I have searched diligently for that information. So if we do see anything, I'll let you know. But usually if we had a pop like this on news, it's likely the news would have circulated by this point. I also want to let you know, Donald Trump is not expected to do much today in terms of appearances. I guess about right now he's supposed to have his intelligence briefing, but that's closed press, so unlikely we'll get any salient headlines from this at least right away. So just be aware here, Donald Trump, 11:30 a.m. Eastern with his intelligence briefing. His next item on the schedule is not until 6:30 p.m., so light day for Trump, but Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking at 1:30 p.m., so just to give kind of a recap as to what we are expecting today. The only other thing we have a note here, apparently Atlanta's Fed GDP now model sees U.S. Q1 GDP slightly higher than expected, but it's still a negative number. So I guess last week they saw Q1 GDP at negative 2.4%. Now they're seeing it at negative 2.2%. So one GDP calculation model seeing that we will have slightly better than the previous GDP print. That's the one thing I'm seeing circulating here, guys. Back to
who's he pointing at?
the world.
The world.
Everybody.
The world is mine. No, I think he probably thinks the world is his.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, that cat. This thing, some of that Cat Williams comedy stuff is.
What do you say?
He's just poking fun at Donald Trump.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
Yo, Cat dropped some fire lately.
He went through.
Remember before the Diddy thing?
Yeah.
The whole
What's
Diddy
going on
thing.
with that? Yeah,
he dropped the Diddy thing before Diddy thing was real.
Cat Williams is a different character for sure.
Next level,
I know he
bro.
was going through a rough time at one point. Remember when he was getting in the fight? Remember when he got into that fight with those little kids?
No.
You never seen
No,
that
I didn't see it. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to be Googling it today.
It's such an iconic video. Like, it's like Cat Williams. There's like probably like a 14, 15-year-old kid who's got him in like a chokehold. Yeah, he just went through a rough time.
Hold on, the kid has Cat in a chokehold?
Yeah.
Well, Cat's a smaller guy.
Yeah, he's a small guy. I mean, he's grown at the
He's a grown-ass man, but,
and he's getting, he's actually got whooped. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
Funny. No, it's not funny.
But I do.
But it's actually hilarious, that video is, because I don't know what was going on to that and why you fighting 15-year-old kids. But I mean, it's
maybe he stepped
stuff.
him or something. Like, he's just like, I don't know. He had to defend himself.
It's jokes. A lot of people know what's going on with that. Okay, guys, let's see what we have going on in the market here. So we got that nice pop in a lot of these big names, and we get this indecision print at some of these peaks. So that's something to keep an eye out on here. So you can see this 5-minute print. That is not a good-looking print for the longs, right? That is a heavy indecision candle right there. You can see buyers push price all the way up to here, and then sellers have the ability to close it lower. So that could be potentially a good short signal. The risk profile is now defined. You can give yourself somewhat of a wider stop all the way up here at 452, whatever vehicle you're using, and then you just play the break and look for the continuation to the downside. But thesis invalid at the crack of that high there, Sharif.
All right, guys, HOLO, HOLO is breaking out. It is sub $1. It's been trading sub $1 these days, but this is a beautiful breakout. It's had a crappy time of late. The 14th, it really tanked. Today, it's having a fantastic day. It's up 28 some odd percent. Look, it's not in my DNA to really want to trade these sub $1 stocks. I've made my point very clear as to why. There are algos that do not trade these things south of $1, so they're by definition there's less volume participation. Also, you're trading at 4 decimal places means you have so many different price levels at which to post offers. So look, I'm not trying to say that this doesn't get to $1. Clearly, it has in the past. But what I'm trying to say is I don't prefer these, okay? Now, it's obviously very extended away from the 10 exponential moving average, given the current price action. I'm looking at the 5-minute chart here on HOLO. Number one, it's dancing with the $0.50. It's having trouble clearing the $0.50 on a closing basis. That's step number one. It's clearing it now, okay? So I eat my words. Number two, I use the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart as an informal gauge of overbought conditions on these small cap gappers. And when they get really away, like they're doing right now on HOLO, away from the 10, I tend to wait for a bit of a mean reversion trade before I get back in. So currently the 10 is showing me 46 pennies, and this just printed 52.5. May not seem like a big notional move for you guys, but percentage-wise, it is. So I'm keeping my eye here on HOLO. I could absolutely be persuaded to get involved if it sets up the right way. Shout out to Jay Lee. HOLO will hit $1, then it could get to $2. Shout out to my man Jay. Jay's an OG. He's trading up a storm on the cheap triple Qs lately. He trades nat gas. He's into a bunch of stuff. So keep your eye on Jay's levels and his call-outs there. I do appreciate that, Jay. I did see you call that out, Jay Lee, OG. Now, I'm keeping my eye here on HYMC because it's a current trade that I'm involved in, and it's had a lot of trouble with 70 pennies. We can't seem to shake that seller that's at 370, and now it's about 500 lots, maybe a bit more, of what we can just see, okay, on HYMC. So I'm looking at wetting the beak here at 69, just to de-risk a little bit ahead of that 70. In addition to that, on HYMC, I am more concerned about the spread, okay? I'm trading a $3 name with a 6-penny spread. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. But I'm looking for another move up above that 70-penny area. But as I mentioned, anything below my entry at around 50, I think I've given it 55 pennies, I get stopped out. So that's my look there. ND saying NB. NB, what is that? New Neocorp Development? What is this? Oh, not a bad look, actually, man. Not a bad look at all. Thank you for calling that out, ND. That is not a bad look. That will replace WIMI. On the side chart, we're going to go and enter NB, and we'll take off WIMI, and I'll keep that one on the side chart. That's a good look. It reclaimed VWAP. ND is talking about NB. Yeah, I know, I can't make this stuff up. I think I just got stopped out of the remaining amount there on HYMC. That's all right. So we'll take a bit of a break-even trade on the last piece there. NB, let's throw in this ticker so we can do a little chart analysis. Yeah, let's first start off with a daily. What does this stock do? $191 million market cap. The company engaged in the exploration development of mineral deposits in North America. Now, this could be huge. This could be a good swing trade. And this is the daily. And it's closing at the high almost every day. Why? What is so good about mineral development all of a sudden? China. That's what is good about it all of a sudden. They are looking at putting export restrictions on critical minerals in an attempt to obviously negotiate stronger, or have a stronger negotiating hand, I should say, with the United States for tariffs. And so domestic mineral exploration, domestic mineral extraction all of a sudden is in vogue. And that's why you're seeing the aggression with which this one is closing at near the daily highs, and the 3-day breakout that it's had here on insane volume. Look at this volume profile, Joseph. Dead, and all of a sudden, crazy volume.
Nice breakout volume.
Not bad, right? 40% today. Big boy moved yesterday. Big boy moved the day before. So NB, thank you ND for calling out NB. I will be keeping an eye out on that, and that looks like a good possible swing as well. Let's do a little bit more charting on this if you don't mind here. I'm going to go to the weekly on this. Though. Oh, wow. That's hot garbage coming from the, was this a SPAC? Let's see. So it opened at around 817, likely not a SPAC. Could be a SPAC though, because it was hanging around 10s. Doesn't really matter. It's been a downtrend. This is the weekly here on NB. So it's been very, very bad for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, it's getting a lot of volume and a big move to the upside. So if you're interested, maybe this is one that you guys can watch, not just for an intraday trade, but as a good possible swing as well.
I like that there. Shadow Rap, I see you. And actually, Shadow is one of my favorite names there. I like Shadow as a name. Okay, let's see what we got going on here, guys. He's a guy. You guys got to look at PLTR. You got to look at PLTR. All right, so we're gonna take a look at it here. I do like this here. Shadow is. If we can close as a complete hammer, then we might get a potential reversal signal there. But you can see that I'm long SQs again for one more time. Let's see if one more time. Yeah, let's see if this trend line holds. If it does and we break out, then I'm just going to get out of it. Not going to try to fight it too much, because if we decide that we want to go long, then I don't want to go against the trend, obviously. But nice look here on PLTR. Let's zoom in and see what we got going on from a 1 minute standpoint. Is there any indecision? Big engulfing candle right here on volume. Potential stopping volume, but nothing from an indecision print on that front. But I like that downtrend there on PLTR. Now, let's note this here real quick before I get back into anything. So one thing I'm noting and I'm paying heavily attention to is this volume by time profile, as Sharif just was mentioning before. Now, this is really strong volume and a nice engulfing candle. We can classify this as a genuine move. But followed by that, we have this massive indecision print, a gravestone doji, a shooting star, whatever you would like to name it, at the top of it, and running into some resistance zones. So I'm going to play off of this until otherwise. If we crack that high, then the thesis is invalid. No problem. But that means there could be some potentially more topside if sellers get more aggressive and you start lifting that bid. And the reason we continue to climb higher and it gets slightly more aggressive. But what you need to note is that volume really needs to step in, just like it did here. All right. So when we climb higher, you really, really need that strong buying volume there, guys. So be prepared for that. But I'm also waiting for this trend to either snap or to hold the backside of it. And if it holds this level, then maybe I could be wrong and we could head back towards the low day. If we get about halfway, then I'll know the thesis is going to be invalid. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. But I do like SQQs for a move back towards the volume weighted average price.
All right, here we go. Let's do it. And let's go ahead and put a couple of big orders. I'm just throwing out my orders, guys, on HOLO. Just got long. We'll see if this one wants to pull back, pop up a little bit and do its thing. 21. So I wanted to mention weed because weed's up big today, and I don't know why. We'll find out when Adair gets back, but marijuana stocks all green.
Is ACB at 1,300 yet? Or no?
You're really holding out hope. I love it, Joseph. I really love it, brother. I love it. All right, guys, we're doing it live. We're having a good time right now. No, marijuana stocks are all green, and some of them are in double-digit territory as well. Tilray is really breaking out right now. So I'll give you an example. CGC is the biggest winner so far, 50 1/3. Tilray's up 9%. Grow Generation is 1.5%. You're seeing Cron 3.5%. MSOS up 2 1/4. 420 talks to make it legal, says Jameson. Good morning, Adam, as well. Okay, I didn't have that information. Thank you, Jameson, for pointing that out. We're taking multiple prints here on HOLO, but it's having trouble with 50 pennies. I'm not surprised about that, but we're looking to de-risk a little bit. I'm also involved in this one, USAR. We're taking a print to the high side there, and I'm looking at for this one to cross 50 pennies to get the beak wet, and then I'd like to take out the rest at 17.88 ahead of that $18 area. So let's see if we can get above 50 pennies on USAR. Where am I long? I'm long 37, so we got a decent move here. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Back to HOLO. We get the print at 50, but the one at 51 still elusive. So I'm waiting at 51 and then 52, okay? So that's what I'm looking at right now, HOLO. And the reason I waited, and I made this point very clear, and if you want to go back and listen to what I said, the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart I use as an informal gauge of overbought conditions, all these small cap gappers. When the price action gets far removed away from that 10 EMA on the 5, I wait for a pullback before getting in. If it's getting too extended, I don't want to be part of that kind of move up. All right, let me look at USAR over here. So we're crossing 50s on the ask, but not on the bid. So we're showing 55s here on the ask, 46 on the bid. There it is. There's the print on USAR. So good. We move up and we hold that 10 exponential. Next level for me, 88s here on USAR. We're showing 60s. We're showing 69s now. All right, let's move up a little bit more, baby. I'm waiting at 88s. This thing can get parabolic. If you haven't been watching the last few days, USAR very strong lately, a multi-day runner. And it hasn't just been one day, wham, bam, thank you, small cap gapper. This has been running for a period of days, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Back to HOLO as we zig and we zag with that 51 penny area, elusive. It's been holding us down, and this is kind of why I don't like these sub $1 stocks, but we're involved in it right now, so we're going to have to deal with it. So HOLO, Joseph, I'm waiting at 51, and then I'm waiting at 52.
Ooh. Good stuff there, guys. All right, we just took a little bit there on SQQ, so there we go. We're back into this trade off of those bottoms and that indecision print that I was referring to, starting to work out really well for us there, guys. And shadow wrap, to be honest with you, I agree with that comment there. Personally, for my style, again, the volatility, some people really, really love it. I like lower volatility environments. That's just my preference. And that's me, man. I don't need this crazy fluctuation, right? And again, they say, yeah, it's really good for day trading, but is it when you have to go smaller size, wider stops, etc.? So shadow wrap, I full-heartedly agree with you on the fact that I like lower volatility environments. You can go larger size and you get the moves that you still need and don't have to worry about a headline-sensitive market and what the VIX is up to and etc. I think there's just a lot more you have to be cautious with heightened volatility environments. So valid point, and I agree with you on that front. But here we go, continuing to climb in SQQ, getting this one back there. Ooh, nice little pop here in the market, guys. I was referring to that indecision print earlier. We'll take a little bit more off right off the top there. And that's what we just played off of. We couldn't crack it to the downside. It failed to break a new high. And then now we're heading back in towards the volume weighted average price. And that's what we're looking here in the SQs. Let's see. IBIT still holding up really, really strong. I like that. Oh, do we ever like that, Sharif?
I like that. Yeah. I like that. Where the money at? Who remembers that song, guys? Who remembers that in the chat, man? All right.
Where the money at?
Lexter 001 asking about CGC. Somebody else just asked me about CGC. We are looking, guys. We realize weed is moving. We are on it. We will get that to you guys very shortly. I realize all the marijuana stocks are strong, 18% right now for CGC. It's very parabolic at the moment. So is Tilray, TLRY, guys, very strong as well. So keep your... All right, we're going to Adara. Let's wait for the call, but looks like she has news for us about marijuana.
Well, I'm just here to let you know we actually don't have any news. It's interesting, too. I'm seeing here on X, I'm telling you, with these marijuana or cannabis-related plays, you find them, I would say, 100% of the time on X, first and foremost, if there's news. All I'm seeing are people asking, what's the news? Is there any news? I don't see any news. So as of right now, it does not look like there's any obvious story. I'm going to continue looking into this. Even the social media attention, it's there, but it's not as extensive as you might expect with this type of move. So MSOS, CGC, ACB, and TLRY and watch. I'm going to keep looking into this, but it is worth noting nothing that anyone who's following this on X and the people who follow these stocks, they do follow the news pretty heavily. They're not seeing anything right now, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, and to be fair to everybody over here, I mean, sometimes it doesn't have to be news, Joseph. Sometimes we can have technical breakouts, and that's just the way it is. What do you got?
And heightened volatility markets. That's what we were just referring to, right? Like, you get these sporadic moves here, and we're seeing that. Sharif and I are looking at Amazon and Google and some of the Mag 7 names, and like, what is going on? Well, guess what? It's just technical moves. It's just large amounts of volume coming in. There doesn't necessarily have to be that catalyst that drives things higher, especially in these market environments. But here we go on the SQs. For those who are asking your boy, why are we in it? This is why we're in it, Sharif.
We're doing a live.
I like longing things. Personally, it's just a mental preference. It's just easier on that. I don't know. There's literally no difference if you're trading TQs or SQs. I just like going long. It's easier for me. I'm just a long biased individual sometimes.
So what?
So there we go. Exactly. And so what? It's preference. It's player versus player. However you navigate this. That's what my guy Obi says. However you navigate these markets, it's totally up to you. As long as it works, just continue to do it. Who cares what anybody else says? So that's my opinion, and I agree with Shadow what he had to say earlier as well too.
Anytime you say Shadow, do you ever see that guy that walks around with his dog? He pretends to be vision impaired, and then his dog is a fake, like, stuffed dog.
And he attacks.
Like,
Is that the dog?
Calm down, Shadow. Yeah,
that's funny.
See, your friend Joe Biden came out of hiding today, huh?
Did he?
Yeah, he came out of hiding, and he's dropping hot lines.
Yeah, he had a good comment there. But Shadow, also the dog in Don't Breathe, for those who remember that movie. So a little reference there on that front, guys. So yeah. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Oh, yeah, I figured. All right. I figured I'd ask, right? Like, you don't want to be rude.
Bro, I'm the worst person to ask.
Yeah,
have you seen that show or have you seen that movie? Like
well, I know. Like,
no,
if there was a pro line, if there was a line on it, the higher probability would be that no, Sharif hasn't.
I'm horrible, bro.
So there we go. But let's see what we got going on here on the SQs. We only got one out left here, guys. So we got 10% of the position remaining. Let's see if we can crack through some of these resistance levels. But you can see I was in here and then I got out here, and then I'm just like, okay, the risk profile is significantly better. We can just use this low as our stop out. And then there we go. We're still continuing to climb. So here's that indecision print. Los Polios, my guy. Gorev, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been at? I know these markets have been hard. DJ 2am and some of the regulars. Darwin, Hal R. I haven't seen Hal R in the chat for a while. I'm gonna type it in and see if he's in there. He's not in there, Hal R. Okay, that's unfortunate. But see, this is what I was referring to. So you get this nice big engulfing candle right here, but then you have this really strong price action print, that gravestone doji at a peak, and that's why we took this short. This 5-minute candle had the inability to construct a new high. So that's why I'm like, okay, once we crack it to the downside, let's take that short, and then our risk profile is really defined. If we climb higher, then there might be some more longs here in the market. But with NVDA continuing to tank and Palantir moving to the downside, and now Google, Amazon, and Meta back towards the volume weighted average prices, it looks like the shorts are right back in play here, guys. Is it a bear market? I said, there we are, Hal. Oh my God. Thinking about you the other day, brother. Glad to see you in
Hal
the chat.
R. I like the glasses that he's got on there.
Yeah, OG, man. He was one of the first people who said anything nice to me ever in the chat.
Nice.
So I remember
you always remember that, eh?
Yeah. When I first started, so. Yeah,
Hal R is good. Aces in my books now, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So, just a pure class, Hal R.
All right.
There you go.
Shout out to my man, Eduardo. Eduardo, you know how it is, man. We can see different things. We can think different things, but we can have respect for each other. So shout out to my man, Eddie R. Keeping it real and keeping it classy, man. Always Eddie freaking R in the chat. Shout out to him. All right, guys, here's what we're doing. We're in HOLO. I did add, and then I scalped out again. But here's the deal. I added a little bit lower than I initially got in. That doesn't change my out, though. My out will be the same because HOLO has a 1, 2, 3, 4 lower high candle setup on the 5. So I don't want to be part of a flat bottom break, albeit it is still above the 10 exponential. And there seems to be aggressive buying in and around 47.5 pennies to 48. We're long 48 pennies right now. It's at 48 pennies. I was able to scalp multiple times through the break of 50, but it looks like it's really having trouble holding that 50 penny area, or that 40, breaking through that 50 penny area is what I'm trying to say ineloquently right now. So I've moved up my stop after I got in that next BQUET, or that DCA, excuse me. So we'll keep an eye out on this one, but I don't want to overstay my welcome on HOLO, because I've seen this story with HOLO before. It has a tendency to really aggressively mean revert, and I don't want to be part of that. So zigging and zagging right now. I'm also involved still in USAR, looking for the move into that $18 area. The reason I haven't been quick to take this out is it's because it's still respecting the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So to me, you know, it's still buyers are in control. Even though we're not really moving up with the same aggression, we're not breaking down either. So I'm going to try to hold this one on. I'm talking about USAR. I've only got one more BQUETer, and I'd really love to get that 88 print that I'm looking at there. So USAR in focus for me. But HOLO is the one that I have more shares on right now. So I am concerned that this one does lose that 47 penny area where I have my stop, because that is a 10 exponential. So I don't want to be nursing this below that 10 exponential and then have to basically DCA or give back some of the gains. Adara, what's going on up there?
I just want to pull Microsoft here. Very much not having a great day, but it is worth noting TechCrunch just reporting that apparently researchers from Microsoft have claimed to have developed a hyper-efficient AI model that can run on CPUs. So good look here for MSFT claiming this hyper-efficient AI model. Keep an eye on noted CPU company CoreWeave as well, CRWV. Excuse me, but MSFT not moving much, certainly going to be on watch here. I've continued looking into this situation with regards to cannabis. I have not seen anything. Some people calling it a pump and dump online. It's also worth noting a lot of people online are pointing out it's Canadian cannabis names specifically that are running. So a lot of these, like again, TRY, ACB, it's going to be a lot of these names based in Canada in the cannabis space. MSOS, the ETF, actually started moving a little bit after these individual tickers did. Back to you.
Bus.
Yes, you can. Cobb the Kid. I feel Cobb the Kid. Cobb the Kid. I feel like you're a Green Day fan. I appreciate that. And thank you for the kind
Do you
words.
have the time?
A Green Bay fan. Sorry, I didn't mean a Green. Did I say Green Day?
Definitely not
Did I say
interested in
Green
that.
Day? No, sorry, I think
Definitely.
Green Bay. Cobb the Kid. Sorry, not Green Day.
My bad.
Did you see what
you were
happened?
singing Green Day the other day,
Was
so
I?
you
Which
can't.
one was I? Which one?
I don't know, but you were singing
Don't
Green
wanna
Day
be
the
an
other
American.
Yeah, idiot.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
So good.
He changed the lyrics on it. He's like he made like a mega reference. The singer of Green Day.
Yeah, he doesn't like Donald Trump.
No, he doesn't like. Donald
He doesn't like Donald Trump at all.
So
Yeah. So, well,
that's okay. But guys, here we go. We're starting to really cook up here. 3-2 Apple G King. Okay, a lot of tags in the chat here. Dookie. But there we go. So we're continuing to
Good
climb
vibes,
higher
homie.
here in the SQQs. There we go, guys. Starting to climb. This is what we want to see. Let's see if we can get out at 37.40s or 37.50s. We would like to hold on because we don't have too much size left. So there we go. Nice breakdown. These big names are continuing to bleed. Not the best look for my Nvidia trade, but that's okay because IBIT is continuing to climb higher, and we love it equally as much. We love all our kids, no matter what they're doing.
Do we?
Sharif. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, hey, there's always favorites. Don't get around that. I don't think at that point. There's gonna be favorites.
Yes, Joseph,
There's
way to
gonna be
get real with it,
right?
baby.
There's gonna be favorites. I'm not saying that I'm one of them, but I might be. You know what I mean? So other than that, but yeah, let's see what we can continue to cook up. Bitcoin holding up strong. SQQs really starting to print up a. We haven't hit that one in a while.
Oh, I was about to hit it for you. I didn't know you had it.
There we go.
There you
Nice
go.
luck there, guys.
All right, guys. So USAR, I had to really think about this one because it came up to 80s and it rejected 80s, 1780s. I'm long at 37s. I have my profit taker at 88s. It rejected 80s because it was a seller of note at that level. And it was also spready at that level. So usually that means there's an area of illiquidity. What keeps me in this trade is the fact that it keeps putting in higher lows. And so I'm saying to myself, well, why am I getting out if it's continuing to put in higher lows? It's respecting the moving average, the 10 moving average. So I'm trying to be patient with this one But when you see it so close to your profit level, it makes you want to just take it out and get it over with. I'm just trying to exercise patience here, hence why I'm still in the trade. I like what I see. The question is, for how long? This one, though, I don't think I'm going to be holding on HOLO for much longer. It's been defending the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 for a little bit of time now, but this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles in a row now where it has lower highs. Seems to have that same level, that 47 penny level, so I don't really want to hold on to this one for that much longer. Here it is again at the 10 exponential. Does it get met with buying? Every other time that it's dipped into that 10 EMA on the 5, it has been met with buying. There's going to come a time where it stops doing that, so I got to be ready for that. I've already moved up my stop, as I said, but you never know the areas of illiquidity with a stock like HOLO. It could get blown through, despite the fact that I've tried to leave a nice spread between my trigger price and my limit price. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, we've talked about stop loss strategies with these small cap gappers. It's not the same as using a stop loss on some of these other names. I'm going to take it out here because it does look like it will lose 47 pennies. 47 pennies is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I just don't want to regret taking it out because technically it's still at the 10 exponential. So I'm just trying to exercise patience, but I don't know how much more patience I'm going to have with this one, especially just knowing its history. I just know its history, and its history is not good. HOLO is the stock I'm talking about. Excuse me, guys. It's at 47 1/4 pennies on the bid, 47 1/3 pennies on the ask. We will keep tabs on this one. It's up 23.5%. So not a bad look there. How was the gym, brother?
No, I went for a walk.
No, Katina man. All good, all good. Katina man just smashed the walk. Attaboy, Katina man. What did you got?
What did you get there?
All right. Well, you've been a while now. You've been gone for like an hour, so you must have done like 4 or 5K.
I was just talking with Ricky.
Oh, okay.
5K, walking that fast?
I do 2.5K in half an hour, so like that should be decent, right? Like, yeah. 3K, decent. Shout out to the Katina man. We're gonna shout him out for that, man.
You guys are speed walkers, man.
Hey, you like to walk slow?
Yeah, I'm such a slow walker.
You like to walk and think?
Well, I think I hope I think when I'm walking.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're trying to get. Yeah,
Can you?
No.
Are you sure?
No. I know what you're getting at, but yeah, sometimes when I told you I went for a walk the other day and I by the lake and did a little thinking there. I guess
it was good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Thinking's good.
It's good. It works.
Good.
Yeah, it's
that's its advantage.
But see, the thing is though, when you start overthinking, it's not so good. So there's a fine line, obviously, that you.
We're having a good time, guys. We're just trolling each other.
I'm all out of here, guys. We'll pull up SQs real quick before we send it back to Shreve. I'm all out of the SQQQ trade. I say that 10 times in a row.
Yeah.
But here we go, guys. Nice outs all the way up through here. Now running into these resistance zones. Took it out just before 37.40 because I'm like, hey, if even though the big names are looking like they want to continue to break down, I just said, hey, you run into these resistance zones, get out, and if there's another opportunity, you get this pullback, and then you can maybe get back in right around the volume-weighted average price, which could be an additional long within this trade here, Shreve.
All right, guys. Stopped out of both positions now because both of them lost a 10 exponential, but we'll take dubs on both of them. This $17 area here on USAR did break the 10 exponential, so we had to get the hell out of there. This one I got forced out of. So let me just explain this one for a second. So this was what we call a specialist breakdown, where they're stop hunting below a key level that's held up multiple times. So what I'm trying to account for here on HOLO is the specialist breakdown, knowing that they're usually pushing people out only to push it back up. So I've tried to gauge that 50 penny area as the breakout area, despite the fact that it's 52.5 pennies. That's a high of the day. So I'm keeping my eyes here on HOLO. It's still above the 10 exponential, whereas USAR has already lost it. So if this one takes out 50 pennies, I'm likely to get back in. Happening now with Adara, and then we're going to Neil's lesson of the day.
We had a very random, still unexplained pop at 11:30 for these markets. Never really saw a clear catalyst on that beyond a slightly better than expected estimated GDP from one metric. But regardless here, Nasdaq down about 2% of the day, though removed from day's lows. S&P 500 down about 1% on the day, looking pretty similar, structurally speaking, to the Nasdaq chart. Now, this came out here well before the market opened. We had Donald Trump posting on Truth Social that Japan's coming into the U.S. to negotiate some of these tariffs. So keep an eye on any trade talks coming from the Donald Trump administration at this time. Microsoft on watch, not much of a move on this, but TechCrunch reporting that apparently Microsoft researchers are saying they have found this new hyper-efficient AI model. So keep an eye on that. Also keep an eye on cannabis stocks. Much like that move with the market, I have not seen anything to explain the push to the upside in these names, but specifically these Canadian cannabis companies doing very well today. And make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying what you're watching every single day. We are here for you every day. And without further ado, Neil is here, as always, with his lesson of the day. So without further ado, take it away, Neil.
Well, thank you, Dara. Regardless of why it happened, Nasdaq was bouncing on VWAP, Google was going ham, the Atlanta Fed now with their number. The thing is, there wasn't any specific reason that anyone could figure out that why you were getting that strong of a move. So this is the cues right in here. And the lesson of the day is just going to be like, if nothing has changed, stay the course. Don't let things off the hook. But if you come to the cues, this is the move that everyone's talking about. Like you were kind of bouncing on the overall market, but you were sort of sitting in the range, still underneath the highs. You had actually pulled back and we're starting to resume the downward trend. And then boom, all of a sudden we went off to the races. I think the biggest culprit, a lot of people were saying, was Alphabet breaking out, but this move is very similar. But the thing is, anything that was, let's just say, holding weakness, the whole morning you see a couple of things that were strong, some strength at least, and were breaking out. But anything that was holding on to weakness did give you a chance or opportunity. Like the first thing you should think about is, hey, look, if you're already long this, great, but what are you going to chase that move up at the top? If you're long, fantastic, craft yourself a plan. But if you were looking for the shorts, that same move up, it might get you something that you weren't going to get before. Like I was looking at BABA at VWAP, which it tagged VWAP at the open and gave you 2 more shots to come into the volume weighted average price. Well, that random thing happened in the middle of the day and BABA went to VWAP again. So what I thought it was back in at the low. And I'm like, are we going to get back into this thing? Well, it did. It came right back into the volume weighted average price. And I'm sure, like, there's got to be other thing. Hopefully this isn't wrong because I'm going to look over it. I know Sean was in Apple. But I mean, yeah, that's the kind of thing, like, maybe not the volume weighted average price, but something that was weak did come into a crest level from the open and then rejected and then went back into, whatever regular trend it was going into. For myself, Intel did something similar on that spike. Remember those highs at 19.4? Well, Nasdaq did the random move. I checked. I didn't see any news. If there had been news, no, I get it. If there had been, there's no more pause on tariffs or whatever, like we were making a deal in China, whatever it could have been, I get it. You're not going to just short the levels that you shorted before had there been any substance to it. But in this particular case, there was nothing groundbreaking happening. So you got some levels that you were only seeing at the open, and you just jumped back into the shorts if they were good. Now, I'm not necessarily, like I said, I'm not saying that would have been your plan of action over in Google, which was literally making highs of the day there, but stocks that had held weakness, that held downtrend, that pop gave you a perfect entry. And sometimes you just have to, you do a quick search, make sure there's nothing going on. I get that. I didn't see any quote levitation in the second push to the upside, so it seemed fairly stable, most of those stocks when they got to resistance. So you take advantage. We're in a market right now where I think we've seen a few of these. We're cruising along, all of a sudden you get a great spike one way or the other. Just last week, I got trailed out in Pfizer in one. I'm like, I never got back into the stock. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. But you can just jump back in if there is no good reason for it, or jump in for the first time, or reload the trade. The lesson of the day is we're in an environment where we are seeing these kind of random volume spikes here and there, reacting to economic numbers, reacting to comments that maybe shouldn't move the market, like a random Fed guy in the middle of the day might say one word, and then the algos decide to remove the bid of the offer, we go cruising for a bit, and then we resume whatever it is that we were doing before. So in that type of an environment, if you know the names that you like, then you can just jump right back into them and be given a little bit of a gift horse there. So I wouldn't have gotten BABA back if it wasn't for that Q spike. I don't care why it happened. Just know that it did, and you try to take advantage of it. That's your lesson of the day.
Thank you for that, as always, Neil. So yeah, guys, let's see what we got going on here in the markets, because we're starting to head a little bit lower. NVDA continuing to bleed and heading towards some of these key pre-market zones here. You can see that we're now through the low of the pre-market at 104 and change, just closer to 104 exactly, and continuing to move lower and lower. I want to pull something up and show it to you guys real quick, and that's going to be the options chain. I've seen this scenario twice, when it was on earnings and yesterday. So I want to see if those orders are still sitting up there. So yeah, 115, right? 148,000 open contracts. Where did we trade as high to yesterday before that news? 113.72. All right, so between 114 and 115, you have just under 200,000 open contracts. And then look what happened when that news came out. Boom, you follow the path of least resistance. Again, people in the chat don't like it when I say it, but there you go. This is what you get, and that's where this is the second time I've seen this. So now I've built myself a small data set here, right? I've seen it during earnings, and I've seen it on this contract's on this week's expiration cycle. Next time I see this, I'm gonna look to take advantage of it, whether it be on the call side or on the put side, because when I have that many open contracts acting as resistance, and any form of catalyst comes out, it's gonna dump it. I shouldn't say that. If it's a negative catalyst, it's going to dump the stock aggressively, and I think that's a big part of the reason why we're down 7% here, Sharif.
All right, DXF, another small cap gapper that's weaseled its way onto the scene. It's just making its way onto the side charts now. We're going to talk about it. Be careful with these ones though, guys, because especially the ones that pop up midday that may be lacking a catalyst as well. Sometimes they can mean revert quite aggressively, and then you can be caught holding the bag, especially if they're moving dollars like DXF is right now. So let's throw on the ticker there. DXF is the ticker. I'll give you guys information on it in a second if I'm able to. Eason Technology Limited, formerly Dunshin Financial Holdings, investment holding company, engaged in real estate operation management, investment business, as well as digital security technology, $1.83 million market cap, so minuscule to say the least. It's also done lighter amount of volume, about 780,000 shares with a float of 0. No, I'm kidding. That's what my platform says. Let's check trade ideas, DXF. So trade idea saying 179,000 without a short float, so not sure what the short float is. Anyway, $8.82, dropping below $8 now. This is one of those ones where, because of the aggressive move up, it's an anomaly kind of, where the volume weighted average price is a little bit higher than the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And so that's not the case. Usually the 10 exponential is at least above, if it's positive, that is, of course, above VWAP. But because of the aggressive move here, VWAP has moved up a little bit higher. It likely will switch soon. Be careful, though. Zigging and zagging with it, with the current low of this candle being at around 7 3/4, the high of the previous candle 8 4/5. So DXF on watch. Certainly how this cookie crumbles, though, we'll have to wait and see. I could attempt a dip trade on this one at the volume weighted average price. I'd wait for 7.5. I'd have the $0.50 psychological support in my advantage there, as well as VWAP. So if there are algos trading this, perhaps they are basing their entries off VWAP, which again is at $7.50. But look at it, it's moving right back up. 8 1/4, 8 1/3, 8 coming. It was just at 7 3/4. So this one's trading crazy right now. Not really surprised by that. Let's load it up on a trading screen here as I watch USAR come back into highs. We're going to look at DXF, have a look at how the book looks. So DXF, what exchange is this on? On the MX. Okay, so let's go ahead. DXF on the MX network. There we go. So not bad. 4 penny spread right off the bat. Opens up though. Look at that. 35, then 18 on the bid. So it's tight sometimes, and then it seems to open up at others. So those are areas of illiquidity that you need to be careful of, because if you're trying to get out, what a price spike up there, 8.5. So DXF trading crazy right now. 882 high a day. We're going to likely take out that 882, and the volume is picking up. We're closing in on 1 million shares here on DXF. So this is the breakout that I'm looking for. Here we go.
And
no, not yet. It's the spread, boom to the high side. We're long 76s, took it out at 9s. Let's see if we can get a little bit more up here. Boom again. Let's see if we can get something above 9 here, Joseph. Let's see. We're long 76. So I'm going to have to give this to around the $0.50, okay? Because it's trading quite aggressively, and if you don't give it room, you're likely going to just get stopped out too early. I'm looking for a move above 9. I'd like to see how it trades at around 9, what kind of size. There is no size posted on the gateway, and boom, again on DXF, man. Taking out that $9 area. It's breaking out at 60% now in the clear. 916 HOD. We got 907s, but this trade isn't over. All right, so the deal is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles on the 5 in a row. 7, lucky number 7, Joseph. We're currently on our 8th candle right now. If this closes green, I appreciate you, Katina, man. I love the vibes, bro. Good vibes, Katina. We all know how it works around here.
GVO.
So we're going to keep, yeah.
You think I keep saying that, eh?
I like that. I like that.
GVO.
So keep your eye out on DXF. It's breaking out on volume. It's a trade de novo. And what I mean by that is the majority of the volume on DXF was not in the pre-market, was not in the open. It is coming in now. The volume is spiking now. So it's a new trade, but be careful with these ones. I hate to keep saying that, but I don't want anybody on the other side of the screen to, get caught holding the bag. Doesn't make me feel good when I read those in the chat. It really doesn't, okay? So that's why I keep stressing, be careful, all right? So DXF, Joseph, it's what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm likely a dip trader around 9.
Ooh, okay, all right, I like that there, guys. Gorev, so listen to me. So my guy, yeah, exactly. Okay, so listen, this is what I've been thinking as of late, all right? So it's not that those prints aren't necessarily working, it's that they take longer to work, and you get that you get those multiple fake outs just due to the volatility. So you can see here on Hood, we have a nice indecision print at the lows there, and then the same with the likes of a couple other names. But I see what you're getting at on Amazon. I like that one. But this is why we went long the SQs, because of this on the TQs, right? Or the Qs itself was that was this indecision print right here. So that's when we took that short. But I do like this potentially. You can use this as the break. If we break that low, then you can just get out of that trade. But it's not that they're not working. It took me a while to understand this. They're just taking longer to work, all right? So let's see what Adair is up to.
Well, I'm seeing a headline here come in with regards to tariffs. I haven't seen any details on this yet, so just be aware. I'll let you guys know when we have more, but it's worth noting there is a tariff headline. Wall Street Journal reporting that the U.S. is apparently planning on using its trade negotiations, or tariff negotiations, to isolate China. The plan is to use negotiations with more than 70 countries to ask them to disallow China to ship goods through their country. So really, apparently, according to this Wall Street Journal report, not only is the Trump administration really focused on China with regards to their tariffs, they're also using their negotiations with other countries to, I guess, isolate China, for lack of a better term. So again, something to be aware of here. Just find that now. Apparently, I'm seeing this headline was, I guess, posted and then deleted from Newswire. So just be aware. Also, I want to mention as well, too, we have comments coming through from Fed's Hammock. She started speaking at 12 p.m. Neil was doing his lesson of the day at the time, but just worth noting here, Fed's Hammock being a little bit cautious here, saying that right now she believes it's a good time to hold steady with regards to rates. Also saying there's a little bit more work to do to get to 2% because the economy is not looking as strong right now as it was at the start of the year. Back to you.
DXF is really going here, guys. Now we're about 69%, 979 high, 970. I'm not muted. 979 high a day right now on DXF.
Okay, yeah. So there we go. We'll take a pause. You got to take a look at Sharif's mic here, guys. Some technical difficulties. We'll get that figured out here momentarily, and then we'll send it back to my guy. Let's see if this can come into play. If we can hold this, what we can do is we can just draw some basic TA here. You can see we can go off of that low. And then use this as our trend line here. And if it cracks it to the downside, there might be some more following that, all right? So be patient. We'll wait for this to potentially come into play. I do like it. Maybe we get involved here. What do you get? Yeah, I think so. I do like this potentially trade here. Pardon me? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't hear that. So there we go. Let's see. We're going to pull up the TQs now for that potential bounce to the top side. We're in some IBIT, but I'm displaying to you guys my SQQs trade right now. It's unfortunate we didn't get this big pop all the way up here, but we took a nice ride from 39s all the way up to about 37s there. 38s up to 36s to 37s. Good math there, Joe. And then IBIT, we're now sitting in this. I do have some more posted up here. We'll start really small, looking for that continuation and that break of the high day. If it breaks through the support level, then we'll just get out of that. But I am liking the TQs for a potential bounce here.
Yeah, I'm muted, bro.
Are you still muted? Oh, you don't have one? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you guys sorted it out there. Yeah, hi. Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, no, I thought you guys got it sorted out there. That's how I'm embedded in some of this stuff here, guys. Yeah, exactly. Like UFC embedded. I got to do something with this hair up here, man. You can maybe get a haircut this evening, 5 o'clock. Shout out to my guy Andy. From Argentina, gonna give your boy a haircut. So here we go. Yeah. So no, he's from. I don't know where he's from, to be honest with you. So I'm not gonna tell you. Try to make anything up. So yeah, you just know he's from. Yeah, he's just from Argentina. That's all I know. I'm not even. Yeah, South America. He's from down there, but he's a good kid. Good
1,
kid,
2, 3.
and good at cutting hair. So yeah. So he's got a good job. Let's go Bitcoin. Let's see if we can break through some of these resistance zones. If you guys want to just stick with the underlyings that are strong, then that's Bitcoin. We waited for this pullback. You can see that we have these indecision prints as well too. And I was looking for that test of the high day. So if we can crack through there, run into 4860s, then that would be a good move for Bitcoin. All right, so let's take a look at the actual underlying to see what we got going on. So I mentioned before, it's nothing for Bitcoin to put in a $10,000 day, and we haven't seen too many of those as of late, all right, whether it be to the top side or to the downside. I would love for Bitcoin to put in just one of those monsters, 10, 12K days, but I do believe we need that positive catalyst, so we'll be patient. I mentioned that we're sitting on the backside of this trend, and that's why I slowly started to grab some shares. If we crack through it, then this could be a minor pullback. One thing to note is that the volume is really starting to fall off a cliff. Not the best for breakout trading, but again, I'll be patient, wait for it to play out. I do believe that we can slowly start to curl over, and I mentioned the length of the consolidation phase here, like 6-7 months of sitting in this phase, and then we trade higher from November to what's our peak there, December, a month, right? That's not justifiable to me, right? I hate seeing this an 8-month consolidation, and then you just trade higher for a month, and then you give the majority of it back in the span of 3 months, right? So it's like, okay, are we ready to get the ball rolling? Maybe, possibly, and that's why I'm going to continue to stay long Bitcoin here, guys.
Yeah, well, Joseph, I mean, I was going to make the comparisons to gold. I think we've already played that out.
Yeah, I mean,
the gold's, dude. I'm reading the Old Testament right now, and they were obsessed with gold in the Old Testament.
Yeah, that's
all right.
crazy.
So I mean, we're just getting started with Bitcoin up here. So that's kind of what I'm talking about.
So there we go.
All right. So the point is, guys, take it easy over there. All right. So what I'm talking about,
Bitcoin Jesus, that's crazy.
Oh boy. All right. So the point is, I think that we're gonna definitely be on a bit of a secular move here going forward. Absolutely. I think that the digital era is started, baby, and I want to be part of it. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, still involved in HOLO. This, to me, looks like it could be a flat top break. An ascending wedge. We're putting in higher lows on the 5 with that same 50 penny area acting as that clear area of resistance. I mean, we've been above it. You've seen that 52.5 penny area where we already wicked up to, but the point here is to look for a closing print, a decided closing print. Here we go. Now we're breaking out a little bit, but we got to cross 51. So now we're at 50.9 essentially. So we're just a couple of shekels away from getting printed. And I added substantially on that down move, but we're still not getting printed. I don't want to take it out too quickly. I'm trying to pack my patience here. It either takes out that level or I will wait even longer. So we get that 50 print, above that 50 print, excuse me, but we're not getting that follow through here on HOLO. So I am a little concerned. There we go, right back below 50 again on the bid, but above it on the ask. So we're zigging and zagging here. The buyers are trying to fight to bring this above 50. The sellers keep pushing this back down. And so we'll have to wait and see how this cookie crumbles. So HOLO involved in that, looking at actually picking up more at 48.5 pennies, but definitely would like something printed at 51, just as confirmation that, you know, the strength is there. I wanted to mention DXF, sorry, my mic died when this one halted down. It just opened up. It's below VWAP right now. I won't be touching this until and if it gets above that 8.25, and it's gonna have to stay above 8.25. Can't just wick up above VWAP. That's how you get trapped long, right? So I'm looking for DXF to regain that volume weighted average price. We're currently on my 5-minute chart, it's at that 8.25. So I'm keeping an eye on this one. This one trades on the MX network, by the way. So you've got to have permissions for that exchange in order to trade DXF. That usually costs a bit more money. The MX network, I believe. At least it does on my platform. The Katina Man dropping the cash there. Shout out to him. He's eating up the lunch. How was that lunch, Katina Man?
It was fish, not bad.
Not bad, huh? Fish. We got fish today. Not too bad. You a fish fan?
Salmon.
Salmon?
Yeah.
Nothing else? No tilapia?
Isn't tilapia one of the worst, like the dirtiest fishes out there?
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure tilapia is like
What is
good
it?
on
Does
mass.
it eat garbage?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, it's just not really good. Yeah.
What's the difference between a lawyer and a catfish?
No idea, brother.
One is a mud or is a bottom dwelling, mud sucking person, and the other is a fish. Boom. Yeah, well, I can do that. Sorry, come on.
That was
come on.
easy, he says that.
Katina, man. He's like, yo, bro, you gotta come better than that.
Crazy, dude.
That's not good enough. No, shout out to Katina, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just remember reading that one time and it was making me chuckle. All right, here we go again with HOLO at 51 pennies. Still trying to take out that level. I mean, I've been waiting for a hot minute. Let me get that print, baby. We're still not getting that print. The sellers are still in the way. We can't print anything above 51 pennies, at least not now. The selling coming in aggressive at that, 50.9. There it is, 51 again. Now we get the print. Can we squeeze some of these sellers out of the way? Now, let's see, we're waiting at 52 next. So let's go ahead and wait at 53. So if we get that 52 print, we got a next one that we can take. HOLO, it's up 34%. But I've seen this story before with HOLO. It can turn on a dime. It doesn't care about your feelings, and it usually is quite bamboozling. So be careful with it. Make sure your stops are sound. Here we go, 51.9 pennies. I'm waiting at 52. We're gonna have to cross to get that fill. Trying to pack my patience on this one. Keeping my eye as well, obviously, on DXF because it's trying to work its way above that 8.25. It's at it right now, but there is selling. You can feel it here on DXF at that 8.25 area, which also happens to be the volume weighted average price, hence why it's being met with aggressive selling by shorts who are basing their short positions in the exact same way that a long would. I wait for VWAP sometimes to get into dip trades. Same thing with the shorts. You're just looking the other way. So that's why we're getting resistance there. 52 pennies remains an elusive target here on HOLO, at least on a closing basis, and there is size at that level. Okay, so keep your eye out on this one. HOLO trying to take out the high of the day, Joseph.
Good look there, my friend. So yeah, I know Sharif's covered this in the morning. We've been going over this all day. Why is Nvidia continuing to bleed? But here we go. We can see this right now. Export ban forces Nvidia to write off billions in AI chip stock. So that is not a good look. Analysts estimated Nvidia held around 16 billion in H20 chip orders, with roughly 10 billion already delivered. The $5.5 billion charge likely reflects the remainder of inventory rendered unsellable due to the export ban. So there you go. Oof. That is why we are continuing to move lower.
I hope they can find somewhere else to sell it. That'd be ideal.
Yeah, that would be. That
like, why can't they sell it to somebody else? Like, what the hell?
Singapore. They'll just go sell it to Singapore, and then and then
they'll find their way in China.
Exactly, right? So there's loopholes around this thing. Your guys, come on, Wall Street, figure this out. We're down closer to 8% here now, Street. Not a good look for the long here on NVDA, especially in the personal. Not good at all. So there we go. We're still in some IBIT and long some SQs back at it again, looking for that crack of the high day. Let's see if we can get that. If this big name continues to move lower, Sharif,
yes,
we might get that break, and that's exactly what we're looking for. If we get that rebound, then not too good.
You back at it again with the white Vans?
Damn.
Daniel, there it is. Yeah, let's, since Joseph was dropping hot lines about Nvidia, let's do a little Nvidia talking right now. Give me a second over here to load up the notes, because there was all sorts of price target downgrades today on our friend Nvidia. I'm just going to keep this here so I can monitor. If you can show my screen, please. I'm going to keep this just on the side so I can keep an eye on the price action here on HOLO. So Bank of America, a lot of these are reiterating their buy rating, but they're being a little bit more, let's just say, pessimistic about the price target. So you can see Bank of America, Piper Sandler, Morgan Stanley, Raymond James, TD Cowen, all either buy, strong buy, overweight buy. They're not downgrading in that sense. It's all price target downgrades. For example, Bank of America down from 200 to 160. Likewise with Piper, 175 to 150. Morgan, they have 162. They didn't change their price target at all. Raymond James dropping it from 170 to 150. TD Cowen also maintaining that same price target, 140. The point is, all of them, the price targets, assume an upside. So for example, even with the downgrades, Bank of America, 42% upside from the current price. Likewise with Piper, 33. Morgan, 44. So rating agencies right now, whatever you may think of them, they're changing their price target, but they're not changing their buy or their rating on the stock. So that's number one. That's what I want to mention. Number two, here's the deal. There is a significant amount of money, revenue that is, that could be taken off the books as a result of this H200 or H20, excuse me, being banned. So look at this. As of April, sorry, the H20 chip, designed to meet the Biden era restrictions on chip exports, generated, Joseph, about $12 to $15 billion. They didn't tell us exactly. $12 to $15 billion in 2024 alone. Okay, so that's 15 billion, 12 billion that you got to take off from the balance sheet. Essentially, it's a scaled down version of the H100 or the H200. If you guys watch that Lex Friedman podcast that I was talking about, they do explain the difference. So keep your eye on that. China now has fallen after being the number 2 market for Nvidia, down to number 4, believe it or not, below Singapore. I wonder why Singapore is higher than China. We've talked about this before.
We don't got a question mark.
We don't got a question mark. We all know, right? Revenue from China halved, guys, after the export ban. That's a tough look, man. So
yeah, lasers,
freaking lasers, yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Right.
So a bit of a tougher look there. I still think Nvidia is king. You know what? Of the AI game, but there are obviously. I don't want to say short term because you don't know how long these are going to last, but there's obviously headwinds right now that have to be accounted for. So I just want to give you guys that information. Make of it what you will. We'll keep an eye out on that and we'll report on it for you. DXF is back above the volume weighted average price. So this one worked back above that 8.25. It just spiked up into 8 1/3. Could we have yet another attempt at that $10 area here on DXF? So for the moment, we have that out above 9, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. I feel there may be some resistance at 9 again. Let's see what this one can do at 9. If it can clear 9 with vigor, I'll get back in. I don't think it feels 9 twice. We'll see. Who knows? But DXF, definitely a midday mover here to watch if you're interested in these small cap gappers, Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Let's see what we got going on here. We're still sitting in this SQQ trade, looking for it to climb higher as the market is just hovering below the volume weighted average price. If these big names decide that they want to take an additional leg to the downside, then we're going to be sitting on the right end of this trade. Now let's see what we got going on here on IBIT. Again, we got in some more, started really small, added some at the base of this. You've seen that I had that order posted up at the base here to see if we can get this pop above it and head towards the high day. So that'd be a really good trade. But if we crack and hold below this support zone, then we got to get out of it and reassess the situation. So that is going to be the game plan let's continue to bleed here SQQs because that is what we want to look for. That has been working out really, really well for us. We're now on our third trade on it. We started 0 for 1, then went 1 for 1, and had a nice move from the lows all the way back up to the volume weighted average price. So the inverse of that would be the TQs being at the highs and then heading back, reverting back into the volume weighted average price. Instead, we are at the lows. So yeah, we'll be patient. Gonna wait for the support level to hold up. You can see we have a resistance zone right here as well too, guys. 37.30 acting as resistance. We're holding that base right now. It's now acting as support and looking like we might want to continue to climb higher. Amazon also heading towards some key support levels, guys. You can see that we have the inability to crack through the volume weighted average price and heading towards this support level right now. What is the next zone that we have to keep an eye out for? That is going to be the pre-market and the day's lows. So that's something really important that we always need to monitor. What are our key levels? Where did we close yesterday? PDC, some refer to as the king of all levels. PDC, for those who do not know, that is previous day's close, and price is always attracted to that. So let's see if we can get that moving. IBIT heading back towards the lower ends. One thing that I do have to note and continue to monitor is that we have constructed a lower high. So if we want to break down, it might be easier for that support level to be snapped instead of us running through the top side, unless buyers really start to step in. Now let's take a look at the options chain to see what we have going on that front. And I mentioned a high level of open interest at 50 on Bitcoin, or IBIT that is. So that is going to be 51,000 open contracts at that $50 strike price expiring tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Because it is a short week. Don't forget that as well too, guys. So if you have options that expire this week, you don't have until Friday. They expire tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Yeah, the Katina Man and the Neil now just picking up on the wheat story that we gave to you guys earlier. Adara did a deep dive. We really can't find anything. It doesn't mean that it's not tradable, though. I love that animation. Let's talk about what they are doing right now. And there's the king of the wheat stocks currently, the biggest percentage winner, at least on my watch list. I don't know what everybody else has on there. CGC, what a move up here for Canopy Growth. Big boy move on Canopy Growth. Just allow me a second. I think I have to stop out of this DXF position. No, I think we're still okay. Let me just make sure where my stop is in place here. DXF, yeah, we're good to go on that. Okay, so if it stops out, it stops out. That's the way it is. All right, so here's the deal. This has been very strong right now. CGC up 21.25% or 21.75%. It got all the way up to that $1.28. It's kind of pulling back into that 10 exponential moving average on the 5 at a $1.21. I wonder if this one will hold. It did initially. So you had a 3-candle hold up here between 12.05 and 12.15 at the 10 exponential. Then you made a new high, and currently we have a higher low. So that $1.20, $1.21 could be an interesting pullback entry here on DXF. So that's what I'm trying, or sorry, CGC. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about possibly trading CGC as kind of like a small cap gapper style trade, even though it doesn't have to be strictly a small cap gapper. So the deal is I'm seeing the 10 exponential at 121 right here. So we're going to get long. Simple as that. And I'll look to actually average in to that $1.18. Why? Because that $1.18 is the volume weighted average price. So anything below a $1.18, I'm out. And there's another reason why I'd be out there. That's a new area low. So just because it happens to be VWAP, that's aces. Fantastic. But it's even better when it coincides with a price action support area. And what you saw here was when we put a 4-candle pullback on the 5-minute chart, it held 118 to a glove. So I'd like to add into that 118 area, but that will be the end of the line for me if it is to lose that area. So we're long 121. So let's set up some beak wetters here. If there is a price spike, we can catch that. So I'm looking at trading these weed names. Again, no idea why they're running. We're not going to take too much risk, but we're going to keep an eye out. Boom on DXF, bro. And take it out again through 9. Bang. So we get in at that 8.5. Tush took it out 920. Here we go again on DXF. Holding that 10 exponential like a dang glove, baby. 979 high a day. It's at 9.25 right now. It's up 60%. It's got a small float. Be careful with this one. Make sure you are catching the trend. You're not trying to catch a falling knife, as my friend Neil likes to say.
The glove don't fit, brother.
Well, hold on. We're taking more prints here, Joseph.
we're doing
We're taking, no. We're taking more prints here on HOLO. It just took out 52s. Now we're waiting at 53s on your friend HOLO. Oh, baby. Adara, what is happening at that big desk?
Here is the Nasdaq. It is on watcher. We have comments coming through from Fed's Hammock. Once again, continuing to speak here. Earlier, Fed's Hammock basically said that keeping rates steady would be the right call for now, just due to the fact that the economy does not look as good as it did at the start of 2025. Now, she's further saying that it's actually going to take some time to see how the trade policy is impacting the economy, saying that it's not appropriate for the Fed to react to every ebb and flow of the market. The term she used was twists and turns, but same idea. And then also, once again here, saying that the right thing to do at this point for the Fed might be to stay on hold for now, saying that steady policy is still an active choice. So they're not being inactive by not making a decision. It's not in a place right now where Fed's Hammock, or it sounds like the rest of the Fed, is comfortable moving rates at this time. She also said when things are uncertain, it's better to think about scenarios as opposed to forecasts. So is responding actively to the economy here is Fed's Hammock. As we get another leg up here for the Nasdaq again, just under an hour from now, we will be getting Fed Chair Jerome Powell. We can get the Economic Club of Chicago. I will be covering that for you all right here from this desk. Back to you.
Adara, appreciate that, guys. HOLO is breaking out again. We just took out the highs, guys, on HOLO. Just went the beak at 53s. Now we're setting up at 55s. HOLO, at least for the moment, is not giving up the ghost. But I'm going to keep saying that because I've seen HOLO has been on our radar, I want to say, for probably over a year. I'm going to have to check with Adara because she has a way better memory than me. But HOLO is a repeat offender, so to speak. And I've seen it multiple times. You kind of lure you in with an aggressive move up only to have that Christmas tree retracement where it goes up and then it goes right back down. It's green on one side and then red on the other. Hence why we say Christmas tree. Full disclosure, that's Randy's line right there. But HOLO continuing to move up. It's got a lot of respect, guys, from what I can see, for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Here's what I'm seeing right now. Look at that. No closing prints, guys, below that 10 exponential. Essentially, since when? Since never, dude. There is no closing print below the 10 exponential today. Not that I can see anyway. So HOLO in focus, but trade it carefully. Again, I'm going to keep saying it because it is a repeat bamboozler. Let's go to CGC. That's DXF. We're done with that trade. So I did get the ad now on CGC at 19s. 18s is the make or break moment. If it doesn't hold 18s, I'm out. That's a new area low. It's also the loss of VWAP. We're going back to Adara.
Yeah, I looked into this strafe here for HOLO. So it looks like this name kind of got its start here through a merger in. I'm seeing some people saying this merger was completed in 2022, others saying it was completed in 2023. So unclear, but either way, HOLO does look like it was a special purpose acquisition combination, so a business combination here. Regardless, I want to talk about these little pops because that was what Sharif mentioned here. Here's the daily chart. We have a steady series of, it looks like roughly once a year, usually in that January, February period, we get this pop to the upside, and it is entirely sold off, as Sharif alluded to. Then, so this was, I guess, early January 2023. Then summer 2023, this happens again. Then super significant with volume as well. We get this happening once again in February to March 2024. This is probably the pop that most people are familiar with when we're talking HOLO. It's a pretty common one. So this one pops to the upside. And then we just get a lot of stagnant trading for this game for a while. A lot of splits and reverse splits. And at this point, yeah, we've already passed this point. So some more volume coming to this at the start of the year. But it is worth noting this one has done a ton of reverse splits. It's extremely volatile. And it has a history of behaving in such a way. Back to you.
Yeah, I agree with everything
Adara just said there. Thank you very much for that, Adara, to give us some context as to when HOLO started moving. I saw the OG Darwin say in the chat that it's going to have a smaller float as a result of a reverse split. So we'll see how that all works out there. That's a great point, Darwin, because we've mentioned it many times. You know, if you don't have a large short float, what you can do is you can look to get parabolic names, that is, you can look for the ones that have a small float. When you have a small float, you usually means that there's more demand for lesser shares, hence the volatility picks up, and that's what I'm talking about there. So I'll give you an idea what the float is right now on HOLO so we can make some comparisons maybe after. Currently, HOLO has an 81.8 million share float. Let me just double check that with Trade Ideas, see if they jive. Nope. HOLO on Trade Ideas says 20.5 million. I've got 80 some odd on mine. So conflicting data there, completely normal. Seen this story before where the data does not jive. Guys, we're taking out some profits here on CGC. So there we go. We got the ad at 18s, or 18.5, excuse me. Now it's at 23. I'm waiting at 24, 26, and then 28. I'm talking about Canopy Growth. Weed is strong today. They're high. They're real high.
It's real strong. It's real strong.
Yo, it's loud.
Yeah,
it's that loud, bro. I'll never forget. I got a story, but maybe not for here.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Everything's fine. Get it, Neil.
Get it, Neil. Wow, there we go.
Yeah. No, well, I'm not going to repeat anything. I'll keep quiet about
Hold
that.
on, Shreve. I got to cover something here, my friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, Amazon really starting to tank here, guys. Dragging the Qs right back, right down with it. What happened?
Sorry.
What happened? Good times here, man. All right, see everybody.
We're having a good time, Joseph.
Yeah. So Amazon continuing to move lower. Come on, buddy. Yeah, get with it. Yeah, you like that. Yeah, that's what I was saying to Katina, man. You like that. Come on.
Katina's killing it today,
Kirk,
bro. He's killing me on that.
Come on, Kirk, buddy. But yeah, let's see. This is the trend line. So I kind of got faked out here, but we just entered right back in with more size on that attempt here to move back towards this high a day in the SQs. But that is the low a day here in the Qs, guys. So keep an eye out on that. You can see that I'm like, I got out too early, but I just got right back in. And then now we're continuing to climb higher and higher here in the
nice
SQ.
trade, Joseph.
I might have to hop out of, let's pull it up on the 1 minute. You can see it a little bit more clear here, guys. So this was what we had earlier on the day. I cut it right there, and then we just hopped right back in. Slightly better of a price here, and then now looking for that test of 3770s. If the market continues to bleed, Amazon dragging everything down with it. Apple starting to move towards the lows. These Meg 7 are most definitely bringing the market lower with it. We're going to look to take some out here, Sharif.
Take some out, Joseph.
There we go, brother. We're going to take that. You like that, says Kirk Cousins. Yes, we do. We're not catching a fill. There
Kirk
we go.
Cousins?
Yeah, he says that from, don't you remember that? When he's like walking in the gym, he's like, you like that. You like that. Yeah, and that's what I was referring
sick.
to.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, you like that. There, don't you? So there we go. Oh, no. So there we go. We'll take it all out now.
Oh, man, I can't today, bro. I'm getting giddy. I'm getting giddy, bro.
Here, so.
I'm getting giddy. All right, guys, we're having a good time. What's that?
He was with Washington.
Yeah.
Washington when he did that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Kirk Cousins anyway? All right, well, we'll talk more about that because we got to weasel up to it.
Yeah, I like Kirk Cousins, man. He's a good guy.
Just keep an eye here. We do have some comments coming here. I guess some reports coming from CNBC saying that apparently the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol has collected $500 million under the new tariffs. Trump had estimated that they'd collect $2 billion. So this the amount that CBP has actually collected so far, according to CNBC, is about a quarter of what Trump had estimated had been collected again. So Trump was saying that there would be $2 billion collected so far from these tariffs at the border. Apparently, again, $500 million is the actual number, again, as reported by CNBC. If I see anything more on this, I will let you know, but it does seem like these tariff collections are a little bit lower than what we were expecting here, guys. Back to you.
For that,
Adair.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so there you go. We cracked through some of those lows, ran into some support, guys, but now we're heading back up. So nice little scalp here on the 1 minute. So we can't complain about that. Gaining back what we lost here because we tripled up the size, got that pop up, and then we just got stopped out as we start to continue to move a little bit lower. We're still sitting in this IBIT trade. We're holding these support levels really, really well, Sharif. So until we crack it and I see that momentum to the downside really start to pick up, I'm going to continue to hold on to this trade and look for that move higher because I do believe we can continue to climb here in BTC.
Absolutely, man. Where are we at dollar-wise on BTC, Joseph?
Bitcoin, we are at $84,395.50.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm not going to complain about it. Joseph, I want to talk about DXF because DXF's on one right now. I'm not involved in it. I'm all out of this trade, but this is now knocking on the door of that $10 area. Now, it concerns me a little bit. Let me make my point, and then I'll tell you the bad, and then I'll tell you the good as I typically do. What I worry about when we have these wicks that come into very similar levels, like this candle over here at 1210 came into about 980. The next candle or the next attempt at that level, 989. So what I'm saying is look out for a possible double top, but don't be shorting just, thinking, oh, there could be a double top there. Wait for confirmation of the neckline break. The neckline, I would say, is below that 750. That's my look. Now, that's a bad side of the equation. Now, the good side is look at the aggressively higher lows here that we have on DXF. Right? So if you're trying to look for a technical area of support, this has been awfully respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Look at, even in all its insanity, DXF was able to actually respect that green line. As you can see, it doesn't have any closing prints below that green line. And even when it wicks below the 10 exponential, again, that green line, it's quickly bought up, baby, and it doesn't even break it by that much. So keep your eye on this one. It's very, very volatile. As you can see, the range per candle is quite prohibitive. It's almost $1 per candle range. So, you're going to have to factor that in when trading this. But DXF, fantastic look on the day. I'd like to see what it does above that $10 area and whether we can get parabolic. Now, mind you, I did look up the short float on this, and I couldn't find it. So I'm flying blind here, so to speak, with respect to the short float, because I have no idea who's going to get squeezed or what percentage of the short float is shorted, let alone, what price levels to expect it at. So DXF in focus, but we're going to try to pack our patience on that. HOLO, I moved down now, my next profit taker from 55 to 54 pennies. I think that's more sound. Now, with respect to CGC, it's stalling out, man. It's not giving up the ghost, to be fair to CGC, but it's stalling out a little bit here. So I'm wondering, should I be taking some profits at some, lesser levels? And I think the answer to that is yes. So I'm going to take out some at 23. I'm layering at 24, 26, 28. I don't trust it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't trust the lack of a catalyst on CGC. Money talks, right? Money talks, but bamboozlement is real as well. So, I'm not really sure why the hell we're moving up. Deadline alert, CGC. I'm just looking for anything weed here. Maybe something came in. MSOS. Let's have a look at MSOS. Nothing coming in on my blotter. Let's look at MSOX, the levered ETF. Nothing. Let's have a look at maybe Grow Generation is a headline there. Tilray. Tilray's up 9 3/4 as well. Nothing. I'm seeing literally nothing. And I know Adara was looking at Twitter, and Twitter had some stuff, but there's really nothing substantive that we can report to you guys at the moment, except to say CGC's up 21 1/4, Tilray's up 9.5%. So yeah, that's the situation. So as long as it's trading higher, I'll keep trying to weasel into this one. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I think we are going to go to Adara at the big desk.
So here's one thing that I think is of note here. There is a website that I've mentioned this before, I found is usually one that will publish these market-moving headlines on cannabis stocks. It's called Marijuana Moment. Usually if there is a headline in this space, I find at least 97% of the time it is coming from Marijuana Moment. So I've looked on Marijuana Moment here. We did have a move in Canadian names. It could have to do with this headline from earlier. Apparently, a poll showed that most Canadians believe marijuana is a part of the economy. So it could be a potential pull. But usually, I find it's more U.S. legislation-related moves that will move the marijuana space. We also cannot see when this article was published. I just clicked on it, so it's a little unclear when this came out. The most recent article prior to that came 3 hours ago with New Hampshire Senate Committee actually rejecting a marijuana legalization bill. So seemingly negative catalyst. Regardless, I want to let you guys know if you're looking for news in the marijuana space, Marijuana Moment is what I would recommend, because that tends to be a pretty good source there. And that's one that is used heavily by the people who trade cannabis on X as well. Back to you.
See what Chamath said about weed the other day on X? He's just like, it's really bad and it's for your mind. We're just learning about some of the effects that it has on your mitochondria. Apparently it affects mitochondria at a cellular level. I don't know what I believe and what I don't these days. So many different studies, so many different reports. You're like inundated. What do they call that? Analysis paralysis?
Yeah,
or whatever.
Paralysis. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not obviously that great for you.
But he said it was worse than alcohol. Like, I have a hard time believing that.
This is my comparison.
Yeah.
All right. How many? Okay, so we know what alcoholism looks like from the streets of Toronto. Right? Do you see anybody who's been on the streets of Toronto be, oh man, I'm just such a marijuana head. I'm out here bombing
It's a big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference. Katina Man says go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, but see, the difference is, Katina Man, they're at the Chick-fil-A buying stuff. The people who are unfortunately addicted to alcohol are in front of the Chick-fil-A trying to get you to buy them something. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, and that as well. Yes, sadly.
So the Maxim Ice.
I don't know how I feel about the whole thing, bro. I legit. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I've seen the ugly side of alcohol. Ugly.
Big time.
But I haven't really seen an ugly side of weed. I'm not just telling you the truth.
I just think that the degree it doesn't compare, because to be honest with you, it just doesn't work like that.
No, I don't think they're equivalent, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's totally, exactly, subjective, but it is what it is. Let's see, come on, Bitcoin.
Can I cover this for a second, Joseph?
You want, brother.
DXF is really going here, guys, but it's having a lot of trouble with 10, but that's... I think that's temporary. I'm just going to tell you the truth. The umpteen amount of higher lows right now on DXF, this one is becoming quite aggressive, quite strong, even though that $10 area has been an elusive area where it's unable to close above. I think that's just one of those ones where we just got to pack our patience. The dip buys on DXF have been money. They've been money, okay? Now it's just about getting it on a micro pullback. I'd like to see it clear 10 decisively before trying to use 10 as that level of support, previous area of resistance. Seller at 12 here, notable seller at 12. Look at the amount of chop and trade. He gets taken out, and now we're 10.5 here on DXF, $10.50. We're about to hit triple-digit territory here, percentage-wise, that is, of course, on DXF. Look to pick this up off 10. It may not give you that move to 10. We're going to halt that 79's false halt. It drops. So I'm going to set up something in the low 10s here to try to get something, if I can, maybe the $0.25. I don't think I'll get printed on this, but maybe we do. If I get printed at the $0.25, it's going to be a $10 stop. We're going to risk 25 pennies. That's if we get printed. I don't even think we get printed. Here comes $11 again. 10.78 now HOD. It's zigging and zagging with that $0.75 area. Very aggressive move here on DXF. Very aggressive. The volume weighted average price is below 9. So we are substantially higher than the VWAP. We're also substantially higher, and this concerns me a little bit, than the 10 exponential, which looks like it's at $9.10. We're printing here 10 1/3, 2/3, excuse me. So I always use, again, as I say this all the time, the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 as an informal gauge of overbought conditions. When you get really away from that 10 exponential, I tend to wait for a bit of a retracement. Buyer here at the $0.50, keeping this above the $0.50. So there is good support at 10.5 here with DXF. How long that buyer stays there in the face of aggressive selling, that's a different question, but there is a buyer at 10.5 that's backstopping the price drop. So keep your eye out for that. In the same way that you should be looking for big sellers that prevent the price from ascending, the same way you should be looking at big buyers who help the price stay up, for preventing it from dropping. There's the new high of day, 1088. I'm seeing 11 now. 11 the high of day here on DXF. That 10.25 is not going to get filled, and I don't even think it's valid anymore if it does get filled, especially with that 11 touch. Very, very aggressive move here on DXF. We're about to hit 100%, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, brothers. Okay, let's go. We're starting to get the ball rolling here in Bitcoin, so we like that. And one thing to note is that the Qs are continuing to make a new low. Nvidia, this bleeding is not going to stop. That is not a good sign. Hood moving towards the low day as well, too, guys. We had that trade earlier in the session. Let's see how it's looking now. Ooh, Joseph, no, that's not a good one to miss out on, but still a really, really nice trade with that potential add. We didn't even make it to this prior resistance zone, and then we just continued to bleed. So a good addition would have been right there, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. We don't do those if ands or maybes. We only do certainties.
You know where that's from, right?
No, I forget.
What?
Somebody said that.
Manchester United fan. Oh, bro, we got to get that
Oh,
video.
that guy. Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
do. I don't do. And his
exactly.
Scouser accent.
Yeah, the Scouser accent, yeah.
Jokes his
Like, you don't
Scouser
do it, fans
accent.
are
I don't do it, fans are maybes.
Yeah,
I do only certainties.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand why Scousers talk like that.
Yeah, but
It's so funny. Sorry for all the Liverpool people
It's
out there. I don't
yeah,
mean to
we don't-
offend
yeah, we don't
anybody,
mean to
but
offend
it's a
anybody.
funny accent.
But shout out to Paddy the Batty, who won over the weekend in his UFC fight against Michael Chandler. I thought he was going to lose that one. So all my Liverpool folk out there, there you go, the siren for you for Paddy Pimblett coming out with the W. But here we go, guys, back into HO. Well, now we're not into Hood, but here you can see that we added this position, and it's now putting in a new low a day. So not too good look for the long term, but that's all right. Let's get back into the TQs. The SQs to see what we got going on. Okay, so we're starting to pull back. Bitcoin is really starting to move, so that's positive. We had a really nice trade on there, so we go 2 for 4, 50% accuracy on that one to keep it positive. But what we really want to keep our focus on here now is IBIT, as we added to the position down here and looking for this break of the high day streak. Hopefully that can come into play. If the market gets a bounce, you can see how strong Bitcoin has been holding up, then most definitely I think we can continue this rally.
I like that, Joseph. You had some bangers today, bro.
Yeah, I like the consolidation phase here, and for that move to the potential top side, we're holding support levels really well. I like this phase. This consolidation phase is a bit more lengthy. Let's see if we can get buyers to step in and push price higher.
Yeah, sorry, Lewis, but it wasn't a Scouser accent. I forgot the Northwest, right? Because Liverpool and Manchester, isn't that the Northwest Derby? Am I mistaken on that? I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. But isn't the Northwest accent similar? Like people from Manchester and people from Liverpool? Isn't there an overlap? My understanding is, having lived in England, like the more north you go in England, the more Scottish the accent becomes. For example, I have a buddy from Lancaster. That's on the border with Scotland, if I'm not mistaken, near the Highlands. And I don't know. I obviously, maybe for me, people from England can tell the difference, but I couldn't tell the difference between that and a Scottish accent. Fact check me, chat. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. DXF, guys, topping tail candle of note here, but it's not the end all and be all of the matter. We've talked about this before when we see topping tail candles. It's different on a small cap gapper than it is to see it possibly on a large cap, a Mag 7 name. There's usually aggressive profit taking at these levels because they're intraday trades. So sometimes they manifest in a bit of a topping tail candle there. What's operative to me is that the current candle is still above the previous area low. So DXF absolutely still in play. How you get in, though, an entirely different matter. Ireland, the more south you go, the more Irish the accent. What? Yeah, it's an acquired sound, says Lewis, but all right, whatever that is. The northerner.
Sharif, I got to cover the Bitcoins.
Yeah, go, bro. Go, man. You know I love that.
Yeah, we love the United Kingdom and everything, but Bitcoin is really started to. We love it. But hey, listen, we got to focus on when things are starting to move, and that's Bitcoin getting this breakout. Your boy likes that. Sorry, my friend. Continue.
No, hold on. You got to keep going.
That volume is really starting to kick in here, guys. So that is absolutely a fantastic thing. A wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, oh my days.
A liability, bro.
Oh, okay. Oh my days. All right, channeling our inner, I guess, English accent. Oh my days, and in it. But oh my days, mate. Days. Early days too. I like that one. Shout out to all my Love Island fans. Love Island UK, probably the best reality TV show there is next to.
Tell them, Joe.
We're not reality TV, are we? This is real. We're doing it.
We're doing it live,
We're doing it live. That stuff's not even live. You gotta
calling?
wait for the recording. Who's calling?
I don't know. I think I should take one of these calls one day, man.
I thought it was
Make
Jerome.
a joke out of it.
I thought it was Jerome.
Jerome?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Hello.
And we got to focus on the Playmaker poll. That's coming up in 3 minutes. But here we go. The king, come on, no swearing in the chat. We appreciate that. So
he's the king, bro. He can do as he pleases. No, he can't. He's going to get blocked. One more time.
So one more time. Yeah, exactly. So the king. That's it. You heard it from the man himself. But let's go. Oh, we just took a massive dump there in Bitcoin. We got to keep our eyes on this one. So that is not a good sign. But we took the majority of the position off. How much do we have left here?
How much you got?
Approximately. Okay. We got a little bit more than half, Sharif. So maybe we'll lock in some more on the back end of
Time to wet your beak there, Joseph.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. We're doing it live here on HOLO, sorry, that's not the one I want to talk about. We're doing real well here on CGC. I'm very proud of this ad, as I've tried to say many times. Something that I want to improve on is adding into winning positions. And so we did get that bottom wick so far, and we've got top wick so far right now on CGC. Looking to take out more. My next peak wetter at 28, okay? $1.28 is what I'm looking at there on CGC. Again, we don't know exactly the reason why marijuana stocks are running, but the fact of the matter is they're running and they're not turning back. At least not yet. I mean, things could change. So we'll continue to take them long and take them high so long as we can. I'm keeping my eye on CGC in the same way that I'm keeping my eye here on HOLO, and this one just lost the 10 exponential. So now I have to be careful. I've taken out the majority of the position, but I still have that dip trade right there. I'm going to allow this dip trade to trigger, okay? I'm going to allow it to trigger, and then I will move up my stop from 46 pennies into 47. So I'll risk a cent and a half on this little dip trade right here. I'm talking about HOLO. I've taken out the majority of the position, but I'm looking at getting more. My only concern right now is that it lost the 10 exponential, and it's not on a closing basis yet. We still have like another 30 seconds on this candle, but something tells me this will close in this way on the 5, and that will not look good. So keep your eye here on HOLO. If it triggers that order, I'm gonna move up my stop. Come on, it didn't even fill me, bro. Come on now. All right, so that's the situation there. Keeping an eye on CGC, still back at that $0.25. Now let's focus on the real trade here, which is DXF. So currently we have a $10 defend on this current 5-minute candle, but the previous 5-minute candle is the one that topping tailed, and that broke 11, got to 11.10. We're at 10 1/3 right now. I'm thinking, you know, if I get long here, $10 is my line in the sand. I won't hold it below $10. Now, if it loses $10, that doesn't mean I can't get back in, you know, after getting stopped out below 10, I'd be looking at 9. The only reason is I'm looking at 9 because VWAP's at 9. So okay, so we just closed the 5-minute candle. Now let's see what this current candle does. Oh, it's losing 10. Here's 10. If we get long now, we could have a really good price. No, it's losing 10, Joseph. Yeah, it is losing 10 aggressively. Okay. So now we have the first 5-minute candle to make a new low, and now it's losing it quite aggressively. So I'm happy I didn't punch in there. Here comes 9. I will be a buyer at 9, though. That's full stop. Okay, so we're going to throw in that order immediately. Let's go 905. Shout out to the 905. Apparently, the 905 can make or break this next election. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, because it has a lot. What did they compare it to that the 905 and kind of the GTA have?
Let's explain to everyone what a 905 is super quick first.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 905 is just an area. It's Durham region.
Outside of Toronto.
Yeah. Peel region, right? So it's just an area code, and it holds a lot of seats. I think exactly.
Let's show them what we mean. Yeah. We'll go to Adair in a second. So here is a map of Toronto maps, just so we can kind of give you guys an idea of where
4-0 way to throw it off.
Toronto Maple Leafs. What is this Toronto map?
Yesterday.
All right, so everything okay. Let open up, open link, open image in new window. There it is, Katina, man. That's what we want to do. We want to do that. So here's the deal. So that lighter area, that's Toronto proper. Everything around in that yellow, that's the 905. So you guys see how we have to grow to the east, the west, and the north. We can't grow to the south, right? Because this way is the south. So all the surrounding areas around Toronto, that's called the 905. And it has a lot of people, like a lot of people, maybe more than Toronto proper. So they're saying that this area of Toronto, or the greater Toronto area, is going to be the decider of the next election, which is in 2 weeks, guys. So somebody was telling me in the chat, why don't you talk about Justin Trudeau? Well, he's no longer the prime minister. We got an interim guy called Mark Carney who's running to be prime minister again.
Show them where we're at in Old Toronto.
We're like down here, guys. So this is like where we're downtown Toronto, where it says Old Toronto. That's where we're at right there. So that's kind of, I just want to explain that so you guys can know. And that's the airport there. It's technically outside of Toronto, but
YYZ.
YYZ.
Yeah, YYZ Feelings as Drake. I think that's the name of the song.
Darwin's born in York. Lies.
Dang.
Lies. Shout out to the OG Darwin. We are going to go to another OG though. Her name is Adara LePage.
Ooh.
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction there, Sharif. So for one, I do want to say again, Fed Chair Powell coming up here in about half an hour. He's speaking at the Economic Club of Chicago. I'm waiting for the stream to start. Also, we did have that 20-year bond auction coming in here. The 20-year bond high yield, 4.81% versus 4.632% previous. That is the 20-year auction. Now, my third point is I was doing a little bit more research here into that report we had from CNBC with regards to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection and how much money they're taking in from tariffs. So I want to clarify, this CNBC report actually came from a statement made by the CBP, or the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. So this is not any speculation. This is actually coming from what this agency told CNBC. Now, what did they say? They basically said here that they're averaging $250 million a day in income from tariffs. And that includes that glitch that we had where there were some issues taking in tariffs. So I was seeing some people in the chat say, does this include the glitch? Even with the glitch, they're saying about $250 million on average revenue stream per day from tariffs. Now, Donald Trump had been saying $2 billion per day on average. So this $250 million per day on average being said by the agency itself to CNBC, a little bit different. Worth noting here, the revenue stream from tariffs could be not at all close to what we were thinking it was. Back to you.
Great reporting there, Adair. As always, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, so here we go. We're still cooking up in this Bitcoin, guys. I took out off the majority of the position. I'm only sitting on about not even 20%, I think. Yeah, 15, 20% here. Looking for this crack of the high, but again, we partial on the way up. You can see the average there, and then we take the most of it off as we reject that high and then come back towards my entry price. So you can see the average, so we'll just stop out break even if worst case scenario. But we rejected that previous high fairly well, 48.50 almost to a T. I want to see if we can continue to climb higher. I mentioned that high level of open interest and kind of how the influence of Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but IBIT being optionable now, right?
Ooh.
And how it swayed the volatility. And I know a lot of analysts were talking about this, so we'll get in a little bit more depth. But what does that mean? So now that this is optionable, now that can kind of like compress the volatility, right? So you're not going to see those big sways, those big moves that we used to see as frequently, because you have the ability to hedge your positions, right? So what does that do? That's just going to kind of pin the price action and make it not as volatile. So that's really important to know. IBIT options greater than MSTR options. Yeah, I don't understand why you would trade MSTR options if you're looking for if you're looking to be exposed to Bitcoin. But let's see what Adair has been up to. Bang, Sharif.
Just be aware here. Keep an eye on these nuclear names. The one moving by far the most in this catalyst is OKLO, trying to take out actually high of day. But basically what happened here is the information is reporting that California is considering a bill to allow nuclear power plants. So nuclear power plants, apparently, this bill is in consideration in California. OKLO, as mentioned earlier, by far the biggest mover on this. But NNE and SMR are getting some volume here as well. So NNE, SMR, and OKLO on watch after the information reports that California is considering this bill to allow nuclear power plants. Back to the guys.
Shout out to Gavin. Shout out to Gavin Newsom. Oh, you thought I was going to do it, didn't you, Adair? You thought? Nah, I wouldn't do it that, Adair. No, I was telling the Katina man off camera that I think Gavin Newsom is one of the more dangerous candidates if you are of the other side. I think he's a hell of a candidate, just, you know, for people who espouse those policies. I think he's got everything, man. He's a smart guy. He's tall. He's good looking. He can, like, you know, he can talk up a storm. And he wasn't afraid to take on Charlie Kirk. I really respect him for that, man. Charlie Kirk is like a professional arguer. To get in a conversation with that guy, you're really throwing your hat into the ring there. So I think that Gavin Newsom is an interesting candidate. And as well, I think because he's a two-termer now, he's going to kind of do what he wants, kind of like the outgoing president who's on his last term, who can kind of just be like, well, I don't really care what the policies of my party are. I'm going to govern in the way that I want, so to speak. And that's it's kind of liberating in a sense, I think, for some candidates when they're on their last leg. Guys, I got into DXF before this thing absolutely tanked. Over here, I got in at 10.5 and I scalped a little bit below 11. It did move up back into 11, but it is losing the bid at $11. So this concerns me a little bit here, okay? I don't know if I want to pick this up at the volume weighted average price. Currently on my chart, that's that $9.20 area. $9.20 on DXF is the volume weighted average price. If we do make it down there, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna have a resting order at that $9.20 area. I think that I'd like to see a little bit more. I wanna see price action support build up there. And if it wants to slow down fine, but I don't wanna be a buyer there willy-nilly. All right, guys, I'm keeping my eye here on CGC as well. We got that 26 bid, but the price action has really slowed down. The volume is dropping off down and to the right on that. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. I'm also keeping an eye on HOLO. This one's on its last leg. I tried to wet my beak there at 52. I've got 2 more outs here on HOLO. I'm going to allow this to print. This dip trade here, I think that it might be valid. We're going to give this one a try. HOLO, anything though, below 46 pennies here on HOLO gets me out of the trade. Now that we've got that, let's throw out an order there to see if we can get the beak wet on a break above 50 pennies. That's my look there on that. Shout out to the Brenkles on the bridge. Everything good there, Brenkles? Yeah, he's good. He's fine. He's fine. He's a big guy. Yeah.
He didn't fall.
I want to mention one thing before I send it off to you. USAR, guys. USAR has been a rocket ship lately. So we had a couple of trades on this one, one trade on this one today. It's rocketing up through 18. This one was kind of like a flat top break. We've talked about this umpteen amount of times where it puts in those higher lows, but it keeps rejecting the same area. The first rejection at 18, 11.30. Another rejection at 18 at 12.10. And then finally at 1 o'clock, we get that $18 break with aggression. Current high day, 18.45. So another flat top break on another small cap gapper-like name. Don't hold me to that in case it's technically not a small cap gapper. The point is, though, it's respecting the trend. And I think I'm going to be a buyer here, guys, on USAR at around $18. If it rejected 18 umpteen amount of times, I like to put the odds on my side, and I think maybe 18 here acts as a level of support, Joseph. So I'm looking possibly here on an 18 long on USAR, my man.
All right, brother. I need you for a quick second, and then I'm going to take it over.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we're going short too.
Okay.
Here on
short,
the SPY. Yeah, so we're gonna. Okay, so we'll hop into this as well. Let's see if we can get it going. Give me the numbers. Oh, okay. So do you want to punch in, or do you want me to punch in?
I'll punch in. We're punching. You're punching in. Okay.
Yeah,
I can punch in. I forgot we kept doing that, bro.
Yeah, so we're going short SPY.
I mean, hold on.
Okay.
Joseph, I'm not ready, bro.
Relax, all right.
I gotta load up on this bad boy over here. Hopefully, we're going short, right?
Going short.
Okay. So we're gonna load up the SPY on the Amex exchange, Joseph.
Yep.
For everybody who trades that. Okay, so we're going short, right?
We're going short.
All right. What do I got, Joseph? I got 530.53. Let's go, baby. Don't disappoint me. 530.53. We're taking out profits, Joseph, at 528.
528.
53.
53.
And we're going to get stopped out. I'm going to actually put a hard stop here. 531.53. We're going to throw that on there right now.
Throw that stop out there, brother, just to see what we got going on. And throw it how it is, how we see it here too. 531.53. Just to see. Yeah.
I'm going to give it a little bit of room in case there is an area of liquidity. But there it is. It's in play. We're already in the money on it, bro.
Already in the money. See, there we go. Playmaker, there we go. Sharif's is now officially tapped in to the SPY. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, anytime. Anything for you, Ramin. What is today? The April 16th. I gotta stop leaning forward because I see the top of the head and it's not looking good up there. We're getting thin. Sharif hates it when I say that, but it is what it is, brother. We gotta accept it, my friend. And it is extremely unfortunate. Let's see if my guy Andy can take care of us tonight with the old top.
From Argentina?
Yeah, from Argentina.
I like it.
Mi amigo.
You ever watch that movie Evita?
No.
No, eh? It was by Madonna.
No.
Madonna was in it. So they apparently, Argentina had a leader, I think in the 70s or 80s, named Evita. And she was apparently like a mover and a shaker. Andre, do you know what I'm talking about? He knows exactly what I'm talking about. I love when I look back to Andre. The guy's knowledge, man. He's money. He's knowledge. Shout out to my man, Andre. from Brazil. Andre, am I allowed to ask where in Brazil you're from? São Paulo. Okay, so that's the capital, right? Rio? Biggest city.
Biggest city.
Brasilia. I did know that, but I missed it there, Katina man. Did you have anything? No, I'm not allowed to ask, says the Katina man. HR is getting called immediately. Just send the emails to the Katina man. He'll take care of that.
We got a good question in the chat here from Jesse. Jesse, the Playmaker pool is essentially a kind of an algo style trading. So you're eliminating the discretionary aspect of trading. So what we've established here from our data is that we are taking a trade on the SPY at roughly around 1 o'clock with a $2 price target and a $1 stop loss. So that's how we're looking for that 2 to 1 profit target, and that's what we've done. We've collected this data here, Jesse, to see if this system is actually going to be consistent. All right, and profitable at most. So we have about 80, this was our 80th entry here, guys, on the Playmaker poll. And this is the equity curve. We obviously started at 0, but at no point did we really go negative, which is slightly amazing and borderline alarming. So if you want to go for that algorithmic style of trading, then here you go. But essentially it's just us voting in the polls to see whether we're going long and short. Our criteria are the same every day. We have a $1 stop loss and a $2 profit target, whether it be to the long side or to the short side, and we collect that data. As you can see, we have all this basic criteria that we want to collect, and then we just put that in a cumulative P&L, and this is what has established our equity curve right here, just based off of that simplistic system.
Bobby Oxalis, talk about the Fed rate, please. I'm just arrived. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Let's load up the Fed rate tool. We'll talk about that. Fed, hold on, don't show my screen yet. Rate tool. There we go. Good. Now you can show it. All right, what do we got here for the Fed rate tool? Let's find out. So this is for the May meeting. May, we got an 85.8% chance of absolutely nothing happening and about a 14.2% chance that we get a quarter rate cut. June, now we're talking about a 61.3% chance that we get a quarter point rate cut and about a 30% chance, maybe a little bit less, that we stay exactly where we are. So that's 400 to 425. Let's look at July. So we're going to get 3 meetings in a row, May, June, July? What? That's a little unusual, get 3 back-to-back like that, eh?
Whoa.
Hello?
Not right now.
Pick up, Joseph.
No, I can't right now.
Pick up. Look, we're talking about the rate cuts, my man. And the thing is, why do you guys have 3 back-to-back meetings? Why? I mean, then you take a break until September, right? And then you do 3 back-to-back, September, October, December. What's going on with there, man? Like,
what's going on, man?
Yeah, I know.
Can't be us out this
He's good. He's been all right.
I'll see him at Easter.
He's Katina man says he's going to see you at Easter, brother. But look, don't bring that crap you brought last time. Bring the good stuff.
Bring the good
stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. I got to go. Bye. All right.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take him to the home, Jero.
Whoa.
What?
You can't do that, man.
Well, Katina man. Katina man.
I didn't know about California Cabernet.
He's bringing a California Cabernet. That's what
Let's go.
Bring it with your friend Gavin right there,
I'm
right?
more of what is it, a VQA guy?
What's that?
VQA.
I don't know what that is, Joseph. I feel bad.
Vineyards Quality Alliance? Come on, man. That's
sorry,
Ontario born here.
Brother, I've been telling you, I've been trying not to drink. Absolutely, you don't have to convince me to do that. You get that immediately.
Get those VQAs.
All right, bro.
I think we need to throw up a poll here. I'm really curious about this one because people were chiming in about the salad that I have going on up here. All right. So can we get a poll, just a quick 10-minute poll? Should Joe shave it or keep it? Hey, thanks.
No, bro.
Let's see. Maybe I'll go buzz cut.
Bro, I've already talked to you about this situation.
I can't take that stuff.
I already told you that don't take the minoxidil. Take the finasteride. The finasteride will not have issues on blood pressure. It doesn't work like that. It works in a different path.
It does?
Yes. Why are you not using chat? Use Copilot. You have such an affinity for
I just don't want what happened to me before.
It doesn't work with the blood pressure. Okay, can I tell you about minoxidil?
Yeah.
They were developing it as a blood pressure medication.
Oh, okay.
And then the guy noticed his hair was growing back.
Hair was growing back.
So he's like, what the hell is going on? So like, okay, fine, let's use this as a hair growth thing. It doesn't really work for blood pressure. But finasteride is a different path completely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. So save it, man. Okay, my guy David. I know Selena would be furious with me if I say.
Yeah. What does Selena say about the situation?
She says I gotta save it, but man, it's tough up here. I mean, I've been in this body for 32 years now, and just to see it slowly start to decay away, like some options contracts, is tough. The poll's up there, guys. We got 95 votes. Please, no buzz. What?
I voted no buzz, bro.
What do you mean?
I'm just gonna tell.
Please, no buzz. All right, I'm gonna vote shave it.
No.
Let's vote shave it.
No.
64% to the shave it. We don't want too many votes, all right? We don't want we don't want
yeah. Then he might actually have to do it.
Yeah. What hair?
Nah,
oh, come on,
man,
God,
come on now,
what hair,
Joseph.
man? That's crazy. Oh, David, thank you. Much appreciated for that very nice comment.
Dan, why people can't just be kind? Does it hurt so much to say a kind comment?
If I shave mine, Neil's shaving his too. So bang, we'll throw that one up there.
You're getting that turkey talk that we talked about. Obi and I had this turkey talk before.
I don't know what Obi's did. No, but
do you remember this, Adara?
Obi's my guy.
This was like a year ago, maybe more, over a year ago. And Derek confirmed.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. The Randy. Oh, I thought it was going.
Hold on, you picked that up? What? You scared the hell out of me there. That's a beauty, bro. Is that wrapped, Randy? That's not wrapped. That's a natural color. Jeez. Your friend Randy there in the chat. Am I allowed to say or no? No. Okay. All right. Then I'm not. Good thing I checked with you, right? All right. So I'm keeping my mouth quiet
I thought
on
Randy
this.
was gonna come over here and show us the shaved head because I was like, maybe I'll pull out the Randy.
He's got a heavy head of hair, bro. Have you seen that, bro? He buzz cuts it out of choice, but he's.
Oh, does he actually?
Look at him, bro. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, then.
Clearly.
Let's see. Like I said, we don't want this poll up too long. We got too many votes already. 354 votes saying shave it there. So no, that's it.
Yeah, what's the percentage right now?
Yeah, it's 66%. It's empty. I gotta snippet this and yeah, so it's looking like maybe we might shave it here.
Nah, Joseph, don't do it, bro. It's not worth it. I think we got stopped at a SPY, Joseph. I got stopped out of the SPY.
Yeah.
I got stopped out.
Oh, you got stopped
Yeah,
out?
man.
That's all right, man.
Yes. Amma Hamada, Joseph, Sharif. When did the Playmaker poll start? When the SPY was around 534, 1130 to short, that makes sense. But why short it now, hovering near days low? Brother, it's not about like choosing the price level. We just go long or short at 1 o'clock, and that's been the data point that we've been doing. Joseph, show him.
Show him.
I know you love to show that.
I love the data.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can tell you exactly when it started.
Exactly. We don't need to rely on Adair's memory here because we've got it. Sorry, Adair, but I always big you up for that.
Yeah, December 6th, right there, guys.
There you go.
December 6th.
So that's what we do, Amma. That's what we do, my man. We get short and or long, depending on what the chat says, at 1 o'clock. That's kind of the whole thing behind the Playmaker poll. And shout out to the OG Darwin who gave us that idea to call it the Playmaker poll. Obviously paying homage to one of the former viewers and a good friend of the show's. Katina Man met him multiple times. And he sent me a bunch of Dallas Cowboys jerseys, man. And I love him for it, but he's no longer with us. We're talking about the Playmaker, and that's why we named it after him. His name in the chat was the Playmaker. So we named it after him. And
there you go.
Yeah, so I just want to give everybody a little bit of 4-on-1 on that. Guys, I'm still nursing a couple of trades here. CGC is doing nothing, so I don't know how long I'm going to hold on to that. DXF is losing the bid. USAR is not letting me in at that $18 area. And then HOLO, anything below 48, I'm gone. It's holding that level. There are buyers for whatever reason on HOLO at 48 pennies. But as you can see, it's had a whole bunch of trouble clearing 50 pennies on the day. It's been above it a few times. Every single time, though, it gets dropped right back. You're good. Right back down. So I'm going to keep my eye on this. Go ahead.
Let's do this, guys. All right. So number 2 in sports playing, flexibility is absolutely everything. At ProfitX, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offer price when you can essentially set your own. Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. ProfitX, where you can call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer up, 2% cash back of up to $300. There you go, ProfitX, and there we go, Bitcoin continuing to move here, Sharif. What a monster move here we got going on in Bitcoin. Now closer up to 2% on the day. We're going to take a little bit more off up here, guys. Nice move that we had cooking up here in Bitcoin, guys, but we got to see what Adara is up to.
Chair Powell is going to be taking the podium here in less than 10 minutes. Just a reminder, this is not a Fed meeting. This is not there could be prepared remarks as well, but he's basically going to be speaking apparently on the economic outlook at the Economic Club of Chicago. Now, a lot of talks like this that Fed Chair Powell has that are not necessarily related to Senate testimony or to FOMC meetings, they do tend to be a little bit more casual. Sometimes he's not even asked about the market. For example, his last talk like this, which was about 2 weeks ago, he was asked about his love for the Grateful Dead and what color of ties he wears. So be aware, we might not get anything necessarily market moving from this. Of course, we always could. It's always worthy to be cautious. But this is not an FOMC meeting by any means. Be prepared for anything and be careful. Fed Chair Powell set to take that mic on the stream there. And again, the stream actually is supposed to start in a couple minutes, but he's not supposed to start making remarks until 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Adara. Appreciate it there. Guys, we got into USAR. As I told you guys, I'd be waiting at 18s. We got long at 05s. I scalped up there on the pop into 29s. I'm very happy with this trade. The next level I'm looking at there, I'm trying to front run the high of the day. The high of the day currently on USAR is 1845. Anything below 1788, I'm gone. That's where my stop is on USAR. I'm looking, though, to wet the beak there ahead of that 45 print. I may move it down a little bit. The only reason is, even though the high of the day is 45, the spread on this one can sometimes be a bit wide. Right now, it's 7 pennies. So just because it gets to 45 doesn't mean I get printed. Even if it gets to 44, I may not got printed either. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man short Apple at VWAP right now.
Here it is right here.
Go ahead to, yeah, he's got it right there. That's top wick, bro. That's annoying. That's a really good look right there, Katina Man. The Katina Man is a self-noted VWAP trader, support and resistance trader. He likes going long. He likes going short at the volume weighted average price. Keep your eye out on his trades. More Trader TV still, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. There it is. There it is. He's spinning the money, baby. Get it, Katina Man. Good look there, my man. Shout out to you. Good look there. Guys, we're still holding on to CGC. Okay, so there it is. More Trader TV is back, baby. So for all those who are asking about Neil's trades, for all those who are asking about the Katina Man's trades, they are right there.
It's not working.
I know. Look, the entries, the exits take a little bit of a difference there, but the positions are sound. If he's long Apple, it'll show that he's long Apple. If he's short Apple, it'll show that he's short Apple. So keep your eye out on that. All right, currently, guys, we're still involved in this USAR trade, long 05s, but it's having trouble clearing that 18.5, so I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. In fact, I think I have to adjust my stop because my stop is for the full position, and we no longer have the full position, so we got to adjust for that. So let's go ahead and set out the new stop. There it is. So that is now active. DXF, guys, as well, lost VWAP. It's trying to get back above 9. I'm seeing 99s, 899s, that is, on the ask. I'm not going to trade DXF until it can weasel back its way above that volume weighted average price. If it doesn't, then I don't trade it. It's as simple as that. VWAP trade for the long on the small cap gappers always is that case. That's one of my rules. I have a very few rules when it comes to these small cap gappers. The main one is, if there's a pre-market high, if this was trading nicely in the pre-market, it's got to be above that pre-market high. That's number one. Number two, it's got to be trading above the volume-weighted average price to take it long. If it's not, I won't trade it. Now, I get, that I'm missing good trades off possible key areas of support that are below VWAP. I get all that. I'm okay with that. That's just part of my system. So I just want to mention that, so in case you're wondering. All right, guys, HOLO, we're back again in this one. I did add at 48s. Now it's coming back into 49s, but I won't be taking anything out until 50.5. So I'm keeping my eye on that. I'm also keeping my eye on CGC. Even though CGC's really dropped off in volume, we're still in the money, but anything below 20 pennies gets me out of this trade. USAR, this is what I was talking about. See, it's crossing, and I'm not getting the print. And this was my concern, that I would put it below the high of the day, which is 45s. I have it well below that, but it won't print me because of the prohibitive spread. It's got a wide spread at the moment. Now back into 41s, showing me 31s on the bid, 40 on the ask. We're not going to get the print until it crosses substantially above that level on the bid. So the left side column here, I'm talking about USAR. Anik Patel, Sharif, Joseph, we need your trades on more TV. No, bro, we're the small kahunas. The big kahunas get their trades on that one. So we're gonna have to do that. Jam Locky, Sharif, is 133 the next resistance level on CGC? Let's have a look, my man. I've got my beak wetter there at 28s, but let's do a little bit of TA. Let's bring in the side chart over here and have a look at what we're seeing here on the 5 on CGC. So it's, the high of the day is at $128, and I think you probably have to go back a ways to find a day when this thing was above $133. Let's have a look. Okay, I see what you're seeing. I'm thinking you're talking about this outlying day here in mid-March. I think that was March, overlapping here between March 17th and March 18th. I think if we clear that $1.28, which is a current high day on CGC, then we should be looking for that $1.40, buck high 30s. If your opinion is this is still a downtrend, which certainly is when you look at it like that, I'd be front running any size over here, and that size is at $1.40. Right, so that's what I'm thinking. You're probably looking at this candle, I'm assuming, this candle over here for that $1.33, because you're saying $1.33. So this candle on March 18th at 9 a.m. on the hour chart. So I see what you're saying. Let's talk about this, that $1.33, $1.38, once this thing can clear the high of the day, which is currently the $1.48. I did get the print there on USAR, so we're going to drop the cash there. I'm quite happy with this trade, even though it wasn't a huge move. It was a technically sound trade, and I really want to stress this point. 18 was the level of resistance, and it was an ascending wedge. Higher low, higher low, higher low. All the while, we kept rejecting 18 here. We rejected it there, again over here. Then finally, we broke above 18. When that sort of situation happens, when you have higher lows with that same area high, if you clear that area high, you come back in, you test it. Usually it's support. It's not a hard and fast rule. Trading is more of an art than a science, so keep that in mind when you are executing these trades. But this one is continuing to go now. We have a new high day on USAR, 1849. I just saw 50s there show up on the ask, so good look there on USAR. I can keep going because I'm a Hamada.
Hey, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're good, bro. Joseph, Sharif went high of day to low of day. So depending when someone voted, it would change what they voted for. So later, voting like me could vote long, while earlier short would be. The Katina man is yelling about Apple right now, guys, as it drops back down again. This guy, he's lit right now. Apple zigging and zagging 197.90 and currently 179.15. So almost $1 in the money. We're gonna hit the dollar club, Katina man, on AAPL. So I get your point, Amma. I get it, but like, there's really no way we can get around that. We're gonna put the poll up for an hour. We can't expect everybody to vote in 10 minutes. So I see your point, my man, but we're just gonna keep it the way it is for now.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up a video, but it doesn't feel like I'm on. Yeah, I was gonna show what's going on
what you got over
with
there?
the little guy there. Yeah,
What's the little guy? Yeah?
I was, well, again, it won't let me, it's saying it can't upload here.
Upload?
Yeah, I'm trying to send it to myself. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but...
how's he doing?
He's doing good, man.
What's the name, by the way?
His name is Milo.
Milo, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, hold on. You ever watch... go ahead, Adara.
We'll go with Powell here.
Wow.
I'm not seeing that he's necessarily taken the podium yet. I have a couple different streams up, but it looks like we do have some prepared remarks coming out. Fed Chair Powell saying that they are, quote, well positioned to wait for greater clarity before considering any changes to policy stance. Fed's HYMC said something really similar earlier today, just saying that it makes sense to hold steady for the time being with regards to rates. Fed Chair Powell said that there's been larger than expected tariffs so far, which means higher inflation and slower growth. So Fed Chair Powell is saying that partially because of tariffs, there will be some slower growth, higher inflation, and they might need to wait here, saying also that the economic impact of tariffs is likely larger than expected. This echoes comments made by Fed Chair Powell a couple of weeks ago, saying that because these tariffs were much larger than anyone was expecting, the impact of the economy as such will be larger as well. Now the streams are hitting, they're going live, and it looks like we're waiting for Fed Chair Powell to enter the podium.
Let's go.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. The entire market's turning right now, guys.
Absolutely. And we're going to definitely talk about this. Yep. I think the market was looking for Jerome himself to kind of bail it out, right? So I don't think that's going to be the case this time. There is no supply, there is no demand issues, there is no demand issues currently right now. So there's no reason for the Fed to cut. Not looking good. And I said this earlier, I do not believe that Jerome Powell was going to give a cut just because the market was continuing to sell off here.
Bro, look at this. USAR just dropped $1.50, man. So in the same way that we saw Apple absolutely lose the bid, and basically all the Mag 7 names, get it, Katina, man. We're seeing USAR as well. So like these small cap gapper adjacent names, and I get it's not a technical small cap gapper, but it's trading similar to one, so I'll trade it like one. Just lost an aggressive bid there, dropping very aggressively into 17, but being bought up. I was gonna say to you, you ever watch The Mask with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
His name is Milo. The dog's name is Milo. He's a Jack Russell Terrier.
Right.
I used to have a Jack Russell Terrier, bro. Mini.
Nice. A mini one.
Ooh, bro. Unlimited energy.
Yeah.
Unlimited. It kind of got on my nerves a little bit.
This guy has no energy. He just sleeps all day.
Well, he's a puppy. Right?
He's a puppy. He's growing.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. And he's up all night, too.
What is he again?
He's a Dachshund.
Hey. Oh, that's right. The hot dog
Yeah,
dog.
he's a hot dog.
Hey.
Really little, man.
Yeah, it's
so
cute,
tiny.
bro.
He's like this big.
Yeah?
Oh, he's so small.
Gotta
He's
bring
like
him into
small
work.
enough, But yeah, we bring him in one day.
You're close by here anyway, so
Not
you're
too
good to
far,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
Bring him a little adventure, so.
I gotta bring in the girls here, but it's just like a bigger drive, and I don't like putting them in my car because they're white hair on black red seats. It's just chaos, right?
There you go.
That's why I want to get the Cybe, bro. You drop that back window,
And then
right? And then they're technically kind of in the cabin there.
There you go.
Put them in the trunk. So that's kind of the look there. Guys, everything is dropping here. Nothing is being spared. HOLO, CGC, they're all dropping quite aggressively. So we just got stopped at a HOLO there, guys, as it drops down. Am I out of HOLO? Because the position board is saying that I'm still in it. So incorrect there, guys. Position board saying that I'm currently involved in HOLO. I'm out of that, as evidenced by that red triangle there. Are continuing to drop even. CGC, we're back break even on this one. Finding a bit of a bid there at 18s. I don't want to be too quick to take this one out since we don't have that many left anyway. I don't mind packing my patience, but yeah, we'll keep an eye out on these guys. But the entire market now losing the bid that is to the downside on the back of Jerome Powell comments. You're getting Meta down 3%, Microsoft 2.8, Apple 2.9, Google 1.6, Amazon 2.3, Tesla 3.8, Nvidia 8. So you're seeing a lot of red. Doesn't matter which Mag 7 name it is, they are all red. The best of the bunch though, and I know it's not a Mag 7 name, it continues to be Netflix. So I waxed poetic about this yesterday. Netflix has absolutely weathered the storm in a way that the other, I don't want to call this a Mag 7 name, but it is a former FANG name. Look how much closer we are to the highs here on Netflix than on any other name. And this one absolutely defended the 200 SMA like a dang glove. Look at that move down into the 200 SMA. That's money there if you picked it up off 800, 811. Now we're at 981, almost back $200 higher. So Netflix continues to be the beast. He didn't say transitory, Darwin. Tell me he didn't say transitory. Wow, read the room, Jerome. I guess maybe he just doesn't what.
You say this.
He just doesn't give a what,
it's
bro.
Transitory.
You guys harped on me for using the word transitory. Ooh. I'm gonna do it again, baby.
Bang.
Get it, Jerome. All right, we're gonna throw it to you for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Me? Okay,
yeah, until I get ready here. Yeah.
Who, me? Yeah,
me?
yeah. We'll go to Adara actually real quick.
Market making move to the downside. We had Fed Chair Jerome Powell's prepared remarks circulate, but he actually only took the podium just now after being introduced by Austin Goolsby. There's been some glitches here with this video depending on which format you're watching it on, but regardless, looks like Venture Powell did just take the podium after being introduced by Fed's Goolsby. Prepared remarks, though, have already circulated, and they are pretty cautious. He said that due to these tariffs having a larger than expected, I guess, scope, they're likely to impact the economy in a larger than expected way. He's starting to read these remarks now, and back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara.
And I agree on that front. It is a...
All right, guys, we ready? Okay, new traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. You get to trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience. You'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then after all that, hopefully capitalize on their platform. That has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. And you can also predict better with awesome back testing. You get reliable real-time data, global markets literally at your fingertips, all in one platform. I'm talking about eSignal, baby. Do not miss out. Make sure to execute your best trades now. Ready, and only if you're ready to elevate your trading game. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at eSignal. The Katina man uses eSignal. I use eSignal. I've seen Adara at the big desk using eSignal now. We're all using eSignal. We love it around here. It's money. It's got everything literally that we need. I'm thinking about actually canceling my data permissions on IBKR. I mean, I don't really see the point anymore, Joseph, quite frankly. Let me know when we're ready with that, baby.
You got eSig, brother.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, look at this guy, man. You can't even say. How could you ever say no to anything this animal does? Right? Yeah. He's like
little
4
Milo,
pounds.
bro.
Yeah, man. I call him. We just call him Buddy, essentially, right? But I mean, the house went from a complete, like, we're kind of neat freaks, and then now it's just like a bomb went off essentially here with this guy being around. Toys everywhere, things everywhere. So yeah, that's him right there. But
is he pooping up a storm?
No, that's the hardest thing we get him to do. So he goes in like in the morning, but then all day he doesn't really go. So
for real,
it's more or less like, yeah, but he's peeing on the mat though.
There you go, bro. There you go.
So we're gonna start there. So he gets rewarded big time for that one. But yeah, like there's zero chance you can ever say no to this face with anything. So whatever he did, I caved the first night and had to bring him in to the bedroom. There.
Yeah, I remember. That's all right, bro.
So it is what it is.
Ferberize that bad boy. It's cute dog, bro. It's big responsibility.
Harden him up, maybe.
Hey, okay. Hey, there he is. Hello,
what a
Milo.
guy, man. Yeah, what a guy. Good stuff on that one. But all right, we got all. Yeah, we're going to bring him in for sure. So we'll get that sorted out. But I mean, let's get back into these markets because we have some really hot news, guys. You can see the volume starting to pick up here and sending the market continuously lower, snapping through some of these support levels. And yes, Katina, man, at Joseph. Yeah. Oh. Milo. Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. So bring it. Just Sharif can bring it. We'll just have a puppy party and stuff like that, and get everything going on. And just never mind trading. We'll just deal with dogs and stuff throughout the whole day. But you can see the market continuing to bleed lower and lower. We snapped through some of these pre-market lows with that volatility and that momentum really starting to step in. That was the word I was looking for, momentum. And now we're not even going to look back. This could drag NVDA significantly lower. That is not a good sign for my personal swing account. So we might have to look to get out of that one because we sized in quite aggressively here, which was not smart. And I was not expecting for that news on the H20 chips to come into play. And I'm like, I'm doing some work on the weekend, last night. And I'm like looking at the tape and I'm, what? Okay, 109. All right, 108, 107, 106. What's going on here? And then I bought some more around 105 here just to bring my average down. But now we're just continuing to bleed here, guys. Not a good look whatsoever. Bitcoin is tanking as well, too. Jerome Powell is not going to be bailing out this market with any form of rate cut here. Multiple dollars in the money, Katina man is, and that's a beautiful trade. So, yeah. These big names are just getting slacked. You thought you were going to catch some relief here in Amazon. No, see you later. Continuing to move to the downside. Let's take a look at the daily from a daily perspective. Yeah, and we're continuing to move. But this price action tells me there is no signs of turning around. And Amazon, with about 70% of their products coming from China, Sharif and I were reading yesterday, this is not a good look for this e-commerce business whatsoever. You can see now down back to 30% off of those all-time highs. And one thing to note, guys, if you're sitting in these and just bag holding, you're not like these funds where you just have unlimited cash and they can just buy it at the lows and then bring the price up to whatever. You got to sit through some of this turbulence, and that is not a good sign whatsoever. So yeah, not a good look here for the market. Bitcoin giving back the majority of its move here as well too, guys. So we'll zoom out and see what we got going on from this 5 minutes on this 5 minute time frame. Glad we got all out of this, but you can see we had two really nice trades on it to the top side. We missed a bit of the trend here, but that's okay. We got a nice piece as we continue to pop, but the market is really, really bleeding. Meta not looking good whatsoever. Oh, that was Meta I was looking. So that wasn't even the Qs. Or Amazon. A really, really tough look here, guys. I don't see the market turning around anytime soon until some form of deal is struck with China. And again, that takes a while. I don't see it coming within a matter of weeks or anything like that. So yeah, there you go.
President Xi removed one of the main negotiators that he had there with negotiating with the Americans. Apparently, this is unconfirmed reports because Xi will never tell you directly, but a lot of insiders saying that he's displeased with the progress of negotiations, so he's removing some of the main negotiators.
But I like what you said earlier too. Like I don't think he cares. He will just let America burn at the end of the day.
But remember, it's a mutual relationship.
Totally.
We got to go to Dara, but let's talk about this when we get back.
So Venture Powell finished his prepared remarks. Now he's part of this conversation here at the Economic Club of Chicago. So it looks like a bit of a Q&A type situation. It's worth noting here, he ended his remarks by quoting Ferris Bueller because he's, of course, in Chicago. He said, life moves pretty fast, and with that in mind, he has no problem with the Fed waiting for clarity so things kind of settle down. So he's saying because of the speed of things, especially all of these different changes with policy, he has no problem with the Fed waiting for clarity, waiting to see things settle out before they make a decision on rates. This basically echoes comments made from Fed's Hammock about an hour and a half ago, where she said that holding rates steady is actually an active policy choice, just reacting to the information they're getting. So with that Ferris Bueller quote, Fed Chair Powell ended his prepared remarks, currently just being asked a question. If there's anything market moving, I'll let you know, but it is worth noting, prepared remarks, those are done. Back to you.
Bueller. Interesting. No, the point I think you and I were talking about before that was Xi thinking that, without striking a deal, America gets the shorter end of the stick than China. Mm-hmm. And this is, I think you and I were talking about this last week, or maybe the week before with another person in the chat who had the opposite opinion. He was like, look, the U.S. stands to lose more than China in this trade war. I happen to disagree. Okay. I think that because so much of their exports rely on American buyers, sure, the prices will go higher on American consumers. That's a fact if you can't get stuff cheaply from China. But how about all those jobs that the Chinese manufacturers rely on? I mean, can you imagine a higher rate of unemployment? They already have youth unemployment that's like 15.5%.
That's great.
I don't think it needs to be worse. It's almost as bad as Canada. No, I'm playing. Don't come at me in the chat.
Well, I mean,
Neil's like, whoa.
What do you mean? Isn't our youth unemployment?
We have high youth unemployment.
It's like north of 6%.
It's like 7-8%. Yeah, it's not a good look. It's not as bad as China, of course, but so that's what I'm trying to say, Joseph. I think it's a mutual relationship here, and they both stand to benefit from a deal. So I don't think I think he's a proud man. I think the Chinese are proud people, and they don't want to be what they perceive to be bullied into a deal. But I think they want to get a deal done. Man.
Yeah, I think again, it's like a tug of war. America wants to come in on the better end of this of the negotiations, and China would probably want to as well. So I think that's what's going to make it a little bit longer to come to any form of conclusion here. It's not a good look for whoever's buying calls. You're right. There's nothing as of right now that says you should be going long this market. And this is me speaking out loud. Why am I the chances of me buying Nvidia yesterday and then it dumping on that news is absolutely crazy. So we'll have to look to get out of that. You know what I mean, though? Yeah, you know what I mean? I'll let you know, and everybody's been saying that. But hey, it is what it is. We'll take it up. But Bitcoin giving up its whole move here now, Sharif. Heading back down to almost flat.
It's another Powell crash. I'm just looking. He's sitting with a gentleman there on the desk. He's crossing his legs. He's got a nice little white seat he's on there, a little love seat. They got a table in between, and they're talking up a storm. All right, Mark. Okay, I mean, Jerome. You're tanking these markets. You feel good about yourself. I hope you're happy. All right, let's read some of these comments here. Roger, you're killing me, bro. When is Canada joining BRICS? Okay, we're going to Adara.
Fed Chair Powell still talking here now in the Q&A portion of his event at the Economic Club of Chicago. Now, what answer he just gave that I think is really key is he said that because of the impacts of this economic policy from the new administration, chiefly it seems to have to do with tariffs, he said that because of the impacts of the policy, the Fed will likely have to move away from its goals for quite a while. And he said maybe for the balance of 2025. So the Fed apparently stepping aside from its goals for the rest of the year as things sort out with regards to tariffs and the impact of economic policy. But he said perhaps they can resume with their goals for next year. So bit of a negative outlook here being painted by Fed Chair Jerome Powell as the market pushes lower. Back to you.
Jerome.
I like what you guys were saying as well too.
Remind me.
You and Katina, man, were saying he might get fired. Like Trump might fire him. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I don't know about that one because like what is Trump expecting him to do? Donald put himself in this situation, and now that Jerome is not necessarily going to bail him out, it's like okay, you're fired. Like what?
I just think it causes a constitutional crisis because I think a lot of people are saying he doesn't have the power to fire him. We'll have to wait and see whether Donald wants to try his hand at that. I mean, he's shown his intentions to try novel things. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to get too much into non-business politics, but you know, like he's not listening to certain court orders and stuff like that. He's doing unchartered things at the moment. Yeah, well, he's not a U.S. citizen, Katina, man. No. He was not a U.S. citizen. No, he came into the, we should probably not talk about it on here. But anyway, the DC guitar. I think America takes a bigger short-term hit, but being forced to scale production to cut off a foreign adversary has historically been where America flourishes the most. That's a really interesting take, man. I didn't think about that, nor did I even know that. Thank you. Mark Susi. I hope I'm saying your name right, Mark. I was an importer for 35 years from Asia. If China cuts off exports to the USA, almost all wholesalers and retail will be bankrupt within 6 months or less and millions of jobs lost. Shout out to Mark. You're clearly talking from a position of knowledge, having been an importer for a long time. Thank you for that comment, Mark. I do appreciate that. Paul Williams, Sharif, China will accept pain, but are U.S. citizens going to accept the same pain and China will do trade deals with EU and others? I like your pain kind of dichotomy there. I do like that. What I disagree with you on, Paul, is I don't think China's going to have willing buyers as readily as you may think in Europe. Maybe in other Asian countries and Africa and some emerging markets, but I don't think the Europeans are going to be quite quickly or as quick to espouse these Chinese products, especially their electric vehicles, because it will fundamentally hurt their own businesses. I'm talking about, obviously, the huge European auto market that we all know about. So I disagree a little bit on the Europe side, but I do agree with you. I think that when it comes to silencing discontent, China definitely has the upper hand there. I do agree with that 100% on that. So shout out to you. Good luck there. Let's see what else people are saying here in the chat. Nothing. Nobody's tagging me, so we'll kind of just let that one go. The Piper killing me, bro. Jam Locky or Lossy. Am I saying that right, by the way? Sharif, Joe, Powell should have criticized the government spending years ago. That's his job. Don't let anyone tell you the Federal Reserve is not politicized. Now, I'm not going to disagree with you on that, about the politicization of the Fed. What I think he tries to stay within is his area of competence. He's given a statutory mandate by Congress to keep price stability and maximum unemployment. So when it comes to government spending, That's a fiscal side of thing. That's not that's not monetary policy. So I think he's always been hesitant to want to comment about that. I think that that's actually been part and parcel of being the Fed and the Fed chair, is that you don't comment on government spending, again, because that's fiscal policy as opposed to monetary policy. Welcome to Economics 101. So I don't know. I kind of disagree with you a little bit on that one, but I respect your opinion. Charlie Taff is going short Tesla from 250. Where are we going? I haven't even had a look at the mag. Let's have a look at the mag right now. So what are we doing here, Joseph? Let's pull up. Oh my God, Tesla. 4.75% Tesla, just absolutely, you know what, the bed right now. And we could easily see 240 on the day, the low of the day, guys, 241.58. Adara LePage just got breaking news.
Well, Sheriff Goebel, it's interesting that you mentioned Tesla here because Tesla's actually implicated in the story I was just about to tell you. Fed Chair Powell still answering questions here for the Economic Club of Chicago, and he talked about cars. He said in general that because we have larger than expected tariffs, they're going to have larger than expected impacts on the economy. We know that one area that Trump has continuously focused on has been cars and auto manufacturers. To that point, Fed Chair Powell says that he believes car company supply chains will be disrupted for years. And he said that this could actually lead to persistent inflation. So not only will this be likely a multi-year just long disruption, according to Powell, it will also lead to inflation persistence across the board. So STLA, GMF, and TSLA all drop into the downside on that story. Very timely Tesla look there for Sharif, and back to the Bash Brothers.
Thank you very much for that, Adira. I just got to read this comment out, man. Shout out to Mike H and ATX. If my wife can't buy Chinese crap, I'll be in great shape.
Ooh, you know what I mean?
Well, look, Adara, I'm not vouching for the validity of the statement. I'm just reading the statement out, baby. Mike H and TX has an issue with his wife buying Chinese crap, Joseph.
There you go.
And he's not happy about it, and he'd rather the Chinese not send over cheaper goods.
There you go. He's allowed to not be happy about it.
The Mike from ATX. You're killing me, bro. All right, Joseph, what do you got on your side there, my man?
Nothing, man. I'm all out of these trades here. You can see what we had going on. We'll go over our what we got, what we traded here on the day. We'll zoom into our specific setups here. All right, so start off the gate. This was our first trade of the morning. Right out the gate here, you can see a couple minutes after the open, we take this long here on IBIT. We take about 10%, and then we get stopped out the remaining. And then I didn't fire back in. This was a strong underlying, and then we missed this bit of the trend. But I'm like, okay, if we consolidate, I do believe we can continue to climb higher. So that's when I started really small. I'm like, okay, I'll look for the breakout and then the test of the high a day, but I'll also give myself some room. If we hold the support level, I'll put out a bid right there to see if we can catch a fill at the bottom of the range, and we did. So then we just continue to the top side, and then that's when we start parceling out, boom, 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 and then we got a small volatility spike right there, and I took off about half of what I had remaining, and then there we go. We take out the remainder as we climb higher, and then we come back to the break even and get out of that trade. So those were the two trades on IBIT, and then we had Robinhood as well this morning, guys. So you can see we took an attempt on the long. I'm like, what are we doing? This market, we're in a bear market right now, guys. So we got to continue with those shorts. And then that's when we head back towards the bottom of the range. I'm like, all right, let me get out of this one. I do believe we're going to continue to move to the south side. We start small, add to the position, and then we slowly take it out and then get stopped out at the break even. But we should have entered right back in there. And then we trade the SQQQ as well. So nice little move here. I'm like, okay, are we moving higher in the market or not? And then we just decide to trade higher. So I get out, and then once we started to flush, I get right back in. This is the inverse ETF. We get back in and then just climb all the way up here, and then we take it north of the volume weighted average price. Try one more time, don't get it, and then we get a nice little scalp on that front. And we trade one more name here, and that would be Nvidia. This would be one of our other shorts here on the day, down almost 9% on the session, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Closer to, 8.7% here, down $9, which isn't good considering how heavy I am in the swing account, but that is okay. Okay, all right, I see it. There we go. So we start small, add to the position, get a little piece off, and then we get stopped out there because we added heavy. So there we go. Positive session. A good solid accuracy.
This is so annoying. Can I show you this? Like, look at the playmaker pull, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we get short there.
Yeah.
We get stopped out there. No, it shows
at the high.
And then we would have been printing up a storm right now.
Exactly.
A storm. Jerome, bro, why could you not have tanked these markets like 2 minutes sooner, man? You're killing me, Jerome.
Yeah, killing us.
Literally killing me.
Oh, well.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and the markets are continuing to believe Bitcoin is now negative, down about 0.5%.
No way.
Guys, yeah.
Okay, so blood in the streets, guys.
Totally.
Very, very aggressive red day today. Multiple different. Pardon me?
Jerome's not bailing the market.
No, he's not. Adara,
Not bailing the market out.
tell us there's something good.
I don't have anything good to tell you, Sharif. All I have to tell you is Fed Chair Powell is still talking and the market is, in response, still dropping. Basically, Fed Chair Powell just said that the closest tariff situation was like decades of years ago, and so it's a little bit hard to compare to a situation where tariffs are this large. They're not really sure where they're going to go from here. And so with that in mind, because they don't really have a comparable situation in the modern world, it is a difficult judgment if the Fed's mandates do come into conflict. He said they also could be in a situation where they need to make difficult decisions. So very cautious remarks coming out of Fed Chair Jerome Powell here. And he said because there's a shock from tariffs, they're going to be getting higher unemployment and higher inflation. So Fed Chair Powell just continuing to speak very cautiously. I do think it is worth noting, though, what he said about the fact that it's hard for them to kind of, I guess, plan and come up with policy plans and a strategy if there's no comparable situation, which they don't have in this case. Back to you.
Man, have you seen some of the prices of these resale on Tesla? The Katina man was sending me something yesterday. Model 3, 2022, albeit rear-wheel drive, has FSD, only 60,000 kilometers. I don't know, like
16?
60. Yeah, which is not bad for an electric vehicle, by the way.
No.
60,000 kilometers, not miles. Katina man, how much was that car? The one you sent me yesterday, what was it, 20 or 30?
30, I think it was.
$30,000. That car,
FSD.
yeah, I told them, FSD. That car, a few years ago, would have been 60, 70,000. I saw Model Ys during the pandemic. I went and saw a Model Y in Guelph, April 2022, before I started here. The guy wanted 95,000. It was like 20,000 above sticker. Yeah, it was going crazy. Now, albeit that was during the pandemic and oil prices had just gone through the roof, so everyone wanted electric vehicles, right, to get around the gas situation. But just look at that. From peak to trough, bro, there is very little demand right now for Tesla cars, used or otherwise, man. And so, oh boy.
Very little demand for a lot, it seems to be, Sharif.
Yeah, demand destruction right now, man.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what it is.
Dino Abedini, Sharif. China tariffs is not inclusive to Chinese-made products. It bleeds into all areas of the global commodities trades. Price of full container shipments are up to $20,000 from $14,000 a year earlier. Explain to me, though, Dino, how does a tariffs increase the price of the container? Like, why, though? Wouldn't there be less demand to ship stuff through containers if the tariffs are going up? Right? I mean, I don't know. Well, at least to the U.S., maybe to other areas. Explain that to me. I'd love to understand what you mean by that because I don't really make the correlation, but I'm not very smart. So, guys, there's a lot of blood. Everything is continuing to sell off right now. I'm not seeing a bid. Nvidia now is down 9%. We could easily see. Yes, bro, it's down 9%. Already with a bad headline to start the day, Katina man, with that Donald Trump headline looking on banning the H20 and the $5.5 billion charge that they had to take. We could easily see by the end of the day when the big kahunas come on, Nvidia can go short, still restricted. So there's a lot of aggression right now. Adara is at the big desk with more breaking news.
So from what I'm seeing here with regards to this most recent drop, a lot of people in X are attributing this to more comments from Fed Chair Powell, but these ones specifically. So people had asked Fed Chair Powell, or I guess this individual interviewing Fed Chair Powell, will the Fed intervene in a situation where the stock market plummets? Because last week we had Fed's Collins saying that could be a possibility. Well, Fed Chair Powell is saying no with an exclamation point. So even if we have a drop in the stock market, Fed Chair Powell says emphatically that they will not be intervening. It's also worth noting here, he followed that up with saying the markets are actually orderly and functioning as you would expect. So Fed Chair Powell is saying that this drop and this market volatility in response to recent tariff updates and this economic situation is apparently as expected, and the Fed will absolutely not be intervening should the markets continue to drop. Back to you.
All right, Joseph. It is 2 01 minus 10 seconds.
Ooh.
But as we owe Neil a minute. And a half, he said. He wants every second that he's entitled to.
Okay.
We're just joking, of course. Guys, it's a very red day in these markets. Obviously, if you're trading anything long, be careful. If there's going to be a mean reversion trade, wait for confirmation. Obviously, the big kahunas are going to take you into the close, and they'll be doing the absolute most in a great way. So for Joseph and I, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Joseph today at the big screen. He'll be covering for me on the afternoon rundown show, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Jerome